got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
At the Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC, we are committed to driving sustainable growth and development across Africa through innovative training and research. Our mission: empowering leaders, policymakers, and professionals with the tools they need to create lasting change. With customized training, dynamic research programs, and study exchanges on leadership, management, and other critical development topics, ADSC offers a platform for exchanging cutting-edge ideas and global best practices. We provide comprehensive services in research and consultancy, capacity building and training, education programs, publishing, and knowledge sharing. Our esteemed faculty, composed of seasoned experts and researchers, ensures a learning experience that is insightful and practical. We specialize in policy development, implementation strategies, monitoring, and evaluation. At ADSC, learning is engaging and enjoyable. Our unique methodology includes talks, interactive exercises, games, video screenings, and lively seminar discussions, all in a comfortable and friendly environment. Ready to make an impact? For more information, email us at info@adstudycenter.com or call +234 912 439 2362. Visit us today at www.adstudycenter.com to explore our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
AME, the Chief Executive Officer, Field Foundation. Please recognize that she's presently present. Please let the hands get up for her. Thank you so much. Ushers, please now need to be on standby to see many of my guests and not seated where they should be, so that let me do that. Alright. I think we have, I don't know if we have the founder of the Builders Transact. Yes. Alright, okay. The Legal State Manager for Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDA, Dr. Olukunmi Odekaudu, still on his way. Mr. Twinchi, co-founder of Get Funded Africa Technologies, still on his way. Dr. Itausa of Souq, that's the General Manager of Souq News. You are recognized as well. Mr. Shino Badikeshi is here with us, the Managing Director of Goxie Micro Insurance Bank. You're most welcome. So, round of applause. Can you wave your hands so that we will be here with us? Thank you so much. Please, ushers. Yes. Can you help me move into its appropriate seat? Thank you so much. Mrs. Tino Olatunsin, actually, as one ambassador, former president, Association of Professional Women Bankers. Alright, still on our way. Mr. Richard Imonije, Regional Manager, Bank of Industry. You're most welcome. A round of applause for him. Thank you so much. Alright, so we're still expecting the representative from SON, NAFDAC, and the Raw Material Research and Development Council of Nigeria. If you have the representative, please let us know. Alright. Okay. I think it's safe to move on while we await other guests that need to take their seats here today. But meanwhile, while we do that, please let me at this point in time announce to us that this event once again is put together by ASBON, Association of Business Owners of Nigeria in collaboration with the Lagos State Ministry of Commerce, Trade, Industry, Cooperative and Investment. And we are here today. It's going to be a record-breaking event for you. This is your first time. This is your first time. Please, can you wave your hand? This is your first time. Oh, wow, we have first time here. Wow. But don't worry, we'll start the drink now. That's the first time. Don't worry. And that's what we do in churches. Yes or yes. And first time honors, don't worry. Because because you hear drink, I'm not raising your hand. You didn't raise it before. Because you had to be entertained, there's no problem. Alright, every one of us will be entertained here today. We have our sponsors and brand. Many of them. We have Souq brand, which is the lead sponsor, the platinum category, and of course, 7-Up would be company makers of Pepsi. And that's why you see Pepsi outside there. So please don't worry, we will be duly entertained. Back to industry, Adosa, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, Souq News, God's American Insurance Company, the CRC Credit Bureau Limited, and of course, yes, these are some of our sponsors. And at this point in time, I think it's important that we know why we are doing this. For 5 consecutive years, this organization have ensured that this event is put together to celebrate stakeholders who are adding value to the small and medium enterprises in Nigeria, and to shed more light, to give us more insight as to why they've been consistent with this event. Please, I would like to invite no other person than the lead convener, the president of the Association of Small Business Owners of Nigeria, a great visionary, a great pathfinder. Please, let's celebrate Dr. Femi Egbesola.
Please permit me to stand on existing protocols for the special mention of the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Manifestation Souq, the Executive Governor of State Prince, therefore, Abiodun CON, the Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Investments, Mrs. Olashade Amunosubidibe, the Honorable Commissioner for Commerce, Industry, Trade and Investments, States, Mr. Souq and Bio Bola, and other heads of ministries, departments, and agencies here present. I'm sure that I am aware that the DG of FIDRO being represented here. Can we please have this stand up for recognition? Okay, thank you very much. I would think if I want to mention everybody that ought to be mentioned, everyone was important. I also like to thank very seriously the keynote speaker for today, David, I think you're coming out time to be here. And of course, our panelists, quite a number of them are already around. Thank you so much for being here today. The commissioner will soon be here to give a speech. But before then, we're going to go down to my speech, which is to give the opening address. So on behalf of the Association of Small Business Owners of Nigeria, in collaboration with the Lagos State Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative, Industry and Investments, I warmly welcome you to the Nigerian National MSME Business Awards. This is the 5th edition, and it is designed to celebrate, appreciate, and enable the supporters of the MSME ecosystem. We have created a platform to say thank you for supporting us in all areas, institutions, governments, development partners, and the rest. And it is our desire to find a way to create a platform to recognize and appreciate. That's the essence of this award event. And at the same time, it's not just about appreciating them, it's about pushing them to do more. Our program is designed to say, please, we want you to do more. So today, it's not just about appreciating, it's about also encouraging them to support us to more. We are like kids, the MSN, we are like kids, we need a push, we need a support. Everyone in the ecosystem can give to us. We also want to thank our sponsors that we have to do all of us, without the sponsors, we also thank the media and of course, every other person, including my own immediate community, has won many and
Once again, members of our spawn, I think we are by this side, right? Please, can we please celebrate them? Let's put our hands together for them. The drivers of the economy, yes or yes. I think you guys have a slogan. Our spawn starts from wow. Was that it? You know it. Wow. Amazing. Asborn. See, it's very important, especially the last one. You want to start now. Many ideas are probably died in the heads of the conceivers, like, I will start tomorrow. I have this idea, and yet you never have the opportunity to start. So it's very important. Start now. God bless you for consistently putting this together. You are indeed the drivers of the economy, and we celebrate what you are doing under the able leadership of the President, Dr. Femi Ekmeshola, very energetic man. I don't know where he gets energy from. See, yesterday he was still reaching out, putting the dots on the I's, crossing the T's, ensuring everything is, on point. God bless you. I love your meticulousness. There's so much I'm learning from you, sir. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much. All right, on this note, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's the 5th SME Business Awards, National SME Business Awards, put together by husband. We'll be inviting our key note speakers to speak to us at this point in time. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker is all the the Executive Director of Faith Foundation, Mrs. Adeyemi Adeyemi. She will be speaking to us on sustainable business practices, the new competitive advantage for SMEs. A round of applause for her one time.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Abby. Great, thank you once again. I'm really delighted to be here at the 5th Nigerian National SME Business Awards. Very honored to be giving the keynote address. All protocols to be observed and I stand on the existing protocols that were earlier on outlined. And hopefully our special guests coming, and I know definitely time to acknowledge them once they come. I also would like to, I love the Ask Small, Start Small, Start Now. That's it's a very inspiring, but also very strategic slogan. And I think it speaks to the essence of what AskBot is, but also what AskBot should be, and the role that you play within the ecosystem. For me, whenever I come to events like this, the people who are very important to me as VIPs those who are building businesses of different forms. You are my VIPs, you are the champions of our work in so many ways. You are the ones that hold our economies nationally, community-wise, locally. Nobody gets present like people that run businesses. And I know recently we were talking a lot about emotional and mental health for business owners because they need it. Many people more than other people that do it. And I'm also happy to see that we have quite a lot of women here. No prejudice to our men, but to you're home builders, you're community builders, you're vision builders. So I want to especially acknowledge our MSMEs who are here in the room. So good morning once again, everyone.
Decision on MSME can actually take view of the affordability of microinsurance, for them to adopt affordable microinsurance, for them to be valued as a means of risk management to protect themselves in the event that they experience shock. And of course, with as little as 1,500 naira, an MSME can actually, be able to access, protect their means of livelihood, or a minimum of 500 naira, monthly premium payment. They will actually buy a health coverage, that will, of course, protect themselves, protect their staff, and member of household against issue of out-of-pocket, health services. And of course, an MSME with that same little amount of money could also be able to access, some kind of insurance protection that will support the education of their children. All of these are very essential in terms of support the MSME needs. What we found mostly is that MSME are not able to adopt, the old mechanism that MSME adopt are always very challenging. And most of the time, quite often than not, erodes their, small saving by having to deep manage their, already existing asset or saving for them to actually meet some of these challenges. Thank you.
You'll be shocked to see that a lot of small businesses do not have access to data or do not make data-driven decisions that help their businesses perform, right? So to achieve continued success in a growing economy like Nigeria, small businesses need to focus on solutions that help them stay efficient.
We are very focused on sustainability because we understand that SMEs are the engines and the main focus of any economy in any nation. So why do we talk about sustainability? There are different ways of ensuring that there's sustainability through strategic programs that it does. In SMEDA, we have various programs that are focused towards the whole MSMEs. Then we are also gender-centric and we focus on those that are mainly meant for women and youth. Some of the programs, we have about 15 programs off the top of my head. We have some that are focused on those in agriculture, the textile and the likes of them. For example, we have the YSP, which is Women in Self-Employment Program, which is focusing on women that are working for themselves and trying to thrive. So we always try to identify all these businesses and look at how we can have a strategic partnership within the ecosystem and build sustainability. Thank you.
Some time ago, I was in Kigali and we were having a conversation and somebody said something that was quite very traumatic for me as a person. And he said there are two nations on earth that are very passionate about telling how bad they are. And those nations are Nigeria and South Africa. So we tell it with very serious energy. And what picture does this paint out there is that nothing good is happening here. And so people are not even willing to come around to say want to do business with us because the way the media is structured in Nigeria only tells the bad news. We have data about things that are not working. We have data about things that are so bad. But on the good side of the country, nobody is telling it. And this is the challenge that, of course, the country is facing. So when people are thinking about Nigeria, the things that they can easily think about are the things that are not working. And this was a challenge for us. And so in 2022, we were in the UAE, and we saw the way the environment was working. It's not as if the things that are happening there, we don't have them here. But the way they are positioned in the media makes everybody want to do business with them. So we decided to also come back home and see how we can position media differently in Nigeria. That we're not just going to be talking about politicians and how much money is embezzled, but we also need to talk about the good things that are happening within the business environment. There are a lot of people who are doing excellently well. There's one woman selling amala there, is training their children overseas. Nobody is giving them the platform to talk. So Souq News came into existence to give platform to businesses, small and medium-scale businesses, voices in Africa, so that people all over the world can see what we're doing, see your visibility, support your project, and then of course you can also become a global champion.
You walk around, you see people doing things, doing business, and if you ask them if they have their business registration, you discover that some of them business for a long time, for some of them 10, 15 years, they don't have business registration. Some of them, they don't even have business account to register in the business name, or they operate these businesses practically in their own name, and this is part of the challenges that they face in accessing finance as another challenge. Because as part of the challenges that will occur when you don't have a business properly structured, access to finance also becomes a challenge for you, as you do not have credit history developed over time for people to make informed decisions on whether they want to partner with you or not. So these are part of the challenges that small businesses face in developing their businesses. Thank you.
What we have done is to actually connect financial access to digital inclusion, right? By providing the opportunity for SMEs based on, as Mr. Henry mentioned, something about credit score and sensitive myself, based on their credit score, their record keeping, and their transaction history, to be able to access some type of funding, right? So what about what did I put out to mention? Right, so there's money that's accessible single digits, ranging from about 7% to 3%, starting from as low as 100,000 up to 5 million. And the best part about it is that this product initially is free to the SME. All they need to do is to register. It's called the Provide. They're able to establish their online presence. Photographers, barbers, small shop owners. There's no reason why they can't use technology, right, to actually formalize their business and be able to create that history to be able to access funding that is available to them. By becoming more organized, more productive, and also more effective. So, as people in finance know, it's about following the money. Usually there is criteria that is set out, and this criteria, just like he said as well, it requires certain things like coming to the formal economy, right? Taxes, business name, having a bank account. I used to have a tailor that started from absolutely zero, right? He grew his business such that he had like a bungalow in front and back, several staff. When you want to pay money, it isn't a private account. It doesn't make any sense. And it's actually well spoken, better spoken than I am. So until SMEs can actually understand that it's about criteria, right? And it's not free money. They have to follow a process to meet these criteria. Then they continue to laugh. I've been in a session with the Marine Director here at the stakeholders meeting where some of the SME associations are complaining to, I won't mention Development Bank Association, that, you're saying you have 5 billion, you're saying you have 10 billion, but only 5 members have collected this money. And the representative told me that, look, there is criteria. Some of you know this criteria, you're not bothered. Some of you are just too disorganized. Some of you actually qualified, but you just don't want to put yourselves in a position where you can access this money.
But I would like you to tell us, there might be 5 business plans on the table. Yeah. What makes one better than the other? What are the key things as a lender that you look for?
So, we mentioned financial discipline is one. I'm looking at for example, the requirement that he mentioned as part of the document that was submitted to me, as part of the business plan. But in reviewing all these documents, I'm looking at the financial discipline amongst all of them. Who amongst all of them is disciplined enough to? Because it shows, as you are modeling this document, it shows the plan.
Discipline? Retaining funds or less expenditure?
No, it depends. It depends. For some businesses, it depends on the nature of business anyway. No one size fits all.
Correct, but yes. Usually what are the things? It's just different sectors.
Like generally, you look at how you leverage expenses, right? What do you spend your money on? Basically, it shows in the business how you expend from your business. Do you use it to solve personal problems as against destroying family businesses?
I think content they say today is king in the media. What we're doing today is that nobody's creating content for you, you're actually creating your own content. Take for example, you produce granite and you're showing on your mobile phone, for example, the process that you take to produce this granite has come to the market, and people are looking at it and they say, oh, how hygienic that you are. They're not just buying something because you also find it. Because there are too many narratives in the social media, for example, today, people believe that there are some certain things that want to buy chips on the road and say, oh, they are using chemical to produce it. Now, this is not enough people from participating. But if you create content to show, for example, from your oil, how it's genuine,
Social media.
Social media, yes, of course.
They need to get a professional to do it, or it's something that they can do on their courses.
Of course, the mobile phone is a television house today, really. So you may not even need a media house, for example, and you put them together on either your Instagram or your Facebook, and the word can say it, and it gets viral, especially when the story that you are telling is so touching and has a human angle to it. And what I'm saying is that, yes, for those who are big, yes, you can have somebody who is your media strategist, is going to help you design content and invest so much on it. But as a small business, you can actually create your content with your mobile phone. And most of the content that you see today that actually go viral are done on mobile phone, not on the big cameras that, of course, the medias are carrying. But what we can only do is to validate some of all this story when we also give you the platform to tell the story, and then of course we help you distribute to wider audiences. There are a lot of platforms, there are a lot of softwares that are available today in the space. Some of them are free, some of the lessons you can actually get. For example, if you download a Canva, for example, on your phone, it can help you aggregate your photos, your videos within your phone and produce a content. There are AI-powered tools today you find on the app. Before now, when, of course, as a radio station, you want to produce your ident, you need somebody to come to Westbrook. Today, there are AIs who does that free for you. And those facilities are available, and of course, businesses can leverage it to actually tell their story.
Okay, so how ULAB is helping small businesses today? We're doing it in 4 ways. The very first thing is we're helping businesses manage their transactions. And I talked about the efficiency in the first place, right? We are managing transactions by ensuring efficiency, automating certain things that you need to do, so that small businesses can focus on producing whether your product or creating your design as a service provider. As a result of those transactions, we are also using that to build credit profiles for small businesses. Credit profiling is a big issue in Nigeria and Africa today. Right? There was a publication outside recently that the CBN have confirmed that businesses can now have transaction histories passed around with banks, which is a great thing because it has been a major problem till date. Right? So that's how we're solving that particular part. And another thing is we're providing financial insights. Please take note, I didn't say data. Data is the raw form, right? Like I give an example within the team. I say data is your road, your pepper. Insight is the soup, right? It's the useful form of it, right? Because a lot of businesses have a lot of data, right? But they don't know how to make use of it. So we provide financial insights that you can actually use to make data-driven decisions to achieve continued success. And the last thing is, which we know is super important for businesses, is investment opportunities, right? How do people access investment opportunities? Because a lot of small businesses have stash cash that they're not using. Now, worrying on efficiency, how do they make efficient use of money that they're not using to run their business daily? And I'll borrow on one more thing, which is payments I talked about. So in the digital world of today, security is a major issue. And how we're solving that is by ensuring that people or businesses have seamless and secure transactions every day. We have stuff like escrow. I'm sure a number of us must have heard of it. And escrow basically means that there is a middleman that collects the money when two people want to transact. And after the transaction is done, we pass it to who's supposed to receive it. And as a result of that, we've had a lot of satisfied businesses growing daily based on that.
MSME is the issue of accessibility to finance. And one of our flagship products, which I think I need to talk about here, is a product that actually helps to support, micro and small scale business owner to be able to repay a loan. Giving them, some kind of guarantee or support, through microfinance bank, microfinance institution, cooperative society, and all of that. I sometimes wonder each time I listen to institutions that are doing lending, talking about collateral. There are actually an insurance product that can actually help support an MSP to see them through the period of that loan and then able to repay their loan. And what we do therefore with that product is that we support lending institutions, we support cooperative society, all of these institutions are involved in lending, so that we can support them, provide some kind of insurance that can see the customer through the period of that loan and then able to help them repay in case they fall into any challenges and they do not have the ability to repay the loan. Our product also, like I said, earlier on, cut across virtually. Even a Keke driver can actually have access to a full form of insurance. And then going to your question, one of the some of the major challenges, and I'm actually going to talk about just 3 of them. One of the major challenges, which of course, both from the supply and the demand side, is the issue of awareness. When you talk about awareness of insurance today, many people would say they don't know even micro, and that's why I started earlier on speaking about what microinsurance is actually all about. Awareness is still not, we have the fault, some of us who are the operator. Most of our strategy are, most times killed to the above the line customer. I mean the literate and the major organization and all of that. I think we need to readdress our strategy to ensure that it also addresses some of those, the BTL, that's the below the line kinds of customer, where we have quite a number of MSME. And of course also the issue of public trust and negative perception is still very much there in insurance. A lot of people still, even though there have been a lot of improvement, a lot of people still feel insurance, they do not trust the insurance company to be able to pay loan, to pay their claim. And I tell you, a lot of people have actually been made in that regard. There are regulatory supervision these days that ensures that when an insurance company takes your risk, it must fulfill the obligation of paying claim. And should they fail to do that, there are sanctions that goes with that. And then thirdly, the issue of God forbid. I know that's cultural and of course religious belief. When you talk about, most of the time when representative goes out to go and talk about insurance, the moment he mentions death or anything, or disability that could, be a form of insurance coverage, they say God forbid. So there are a lot of God forbid, and people most times do not want to actually listen to insurance coverage. People pick the product before, they stop them from, having. And I do believe that if we are able to address some of these things, if we have, opportunity and the kind of collaboration that we do, especially with the like of ASBON, where we talk to, their representative about insurance as we are doing today, many people will actually see the benefit of insurance and then be able to take on a product that will help them remain resilient and sustainable into the future. Thank you.
My apologies for coming late, but Lagos is very big. So, but I'm nevertheless delighted to be here, and all more so. I'm happy that I also got here in time to listen to some of the very insightful dialogue on the just concluded panel. That was really very good. I'm here to deliver the Executive Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu's speech, and goodwill and thank you, appreciative comments by the Special Advisor, Deputy Director General, Open State Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency, and my dear sister, Ms. Shola Arubieke. Representatives of the commerce, representatives, obviously myself, my colleagues from the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, Trade and Investment, all here. Applaud them now. The Director General, Federal Research Institute, Oshodi, FIRO, Mr. Lawal Adekunle. The President and convener here today of the Association of Small Businesses in Nigeria, ASBON, Dr. Femi Egeshola. representatives of governments here present, leaders of business membership organizations here present, esteemed members of the panel of discussion, distinguished guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. The acceptance speech by Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. I am truly honored and humbled to accept the esteemed award for the most supportive governor for MSMEs in Nigeria from the Association of Small Business Owners of Nigeria, ASBON. I commend ASBON's leadership for their unwavering commitment to the MSME community and for tirelessly advocating for small businesses throughout our country. I dedicate this recognition to the hard-working people of Lagos State, especially our enterprising MSME community, whose resilience, creativity, and entrepreneurial spirit drive our economy. From the beginning of our administration, we've understood just how important micro, small, and medium enterprises are in fueling economic growth, creating jobs, sparking innovation, and alleviating poverty. To create a greater Lagos, it was clear, and it is clear, that empowering our MSMEs, the true engines of grassroots development, is essential. Our firm commitment to supporting small businesses is evident in our policies and initiatives, which include expanding the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, LSTEF, providing billions of naira in loans and grants to MSMEs across various sectors, making it easier for them to access affordable funding and grow their businesses, launching the post-COVID-19 Lagos MSME Recovery Fund, which delivered essential relief to businesses hit hard by the pandemic, investing in enterprise hubs, business clinics, and industrial parks to foster environments where businesses can really flourish. Strengthening market access through initiatives like the Lagos State MSME Trade Fairs, the MSME Digital Marketplace, and forming strategic partnerships with private sector players. Facilitating capacity building training and mentorship programs in collaboration with local and international partners, helping MSME operators gain the skills they need for the digitized world. Inaugurating the Lagos State Council on MSMEs to create a coordinated platform for policy development, advocacy, and support for small businesses. Simplifying the business registration process and introducing tax relief measures to lighten financial burdens, particularly during these economic times. Over the past 4 years, through the Micro Enterprise Support Initiative, MESI, we have empowered more than 11,000 startup businesses, particularly focusing on vulnerable groups, women, and graduates from our skills acquisition centers. Our goal in Lagos State is to tackle poverty, is to boost wealth, and to help ease the economic challenges faced by the people of Lagos State. What is most important is that we are committed to listening, to engaging directly with MSMEs in order to truly understand their challenges and work collectively to create sustainable, impactful solutions. I want to assure you that we will ensure a business-friendly atmosphere, investing in infrastructure, encouraging innovation, and promoting inclusivity, making sure that every small business in Lagos has the chance to flourish. So let me take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude once again to ASBON for this recognition. Your commitment to celebrating excellence in entrepreneurship is truly admirable. To all yes please, let's applaud him. To all MSME operators in Lagos State, your contributions are appreciated, and your government is firmly behind you. Let us keep working towards building a greater Lagos, one that is competitive on a global scale, economically thriving and socially inclusive. Thank you all, and God bless you. Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu.
Yes, kindly put me award. Please come on, come on. Will you 7 up to mix and go yes or yes? Yes. Now let them know so that they can continue to. All right, please take the award to Her Excellency, and she will do us the honors of presenting it.
I'm incredibly delighted on behalf of the Nigerian National Airline to present to you, on behalf of ASCON, the Nigerian National SME Business Awards. You are the winner of the SME Impact Leader Award, SME Man of the Year Award. I'm delighted to present to you Mr. Ziad Madu, the Managing Director of 7up Public Company.
Please look at the camera. And so, the next award.
Give me the mic, I will not let it go, by the way. Madam, thank you very much for the award. It's a great honor for me to receive it, especially from you on behalf of Mr. Governor. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Together we make it better, Lagos.
For Mr. Governor, as the SME-friendly governor, and this award will be jointly presented by our own Shola Obieke. Please come on, and Dr. Femi Egbe-Shola presenting this award to Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, SME Most Friendly Governor of the Year 2025. Let's celebrate that.
Presents the Nigerian National SME Business Awards for 2025 to His Excellency Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu as the SME Most Friendly Governor of the Year 2025.
Okay.
Commissioner of the Year for Business-Friendly Reforms under the Nigerian National SME Business Awards 2025. Can you give it up to the winner?
I'm delighted to accept this on behalf of the entire, because you know, as they say, it takes many people to make a village, and it's actually a team award. So these are the Director of Commerce and the Deputy Director of Commerce. We all work together, so it's actually our award. Thank you all very, very much indeed. Thank you.
I present to you this award as the SME Most Supported State Ministry of the Year. Big congratulations.
The Executive Governor of Ogun State, for the award of the Best Governor in Enterprise and Investment Promotion in Nigeria.
So it's an honor to present to you SME Hero in Public Service, the winner is Shola Obieke.
this investment promotion and facilitation agency.
For small business growth in Nigeria. The winner is Mr. Bola Emmanuel Sofela. Congratulations.
On behalf of the Nigerian National SME Business Award, year 2025, I'd like to present this SME Microinsurance Company of the Year Award to the winner, Souq Microinsurance Company Limited. Congratulations.
On behalf of the National SME Business Award, the year 2025, we are presenting you SME-centric television station of the year 2025. Winner, of course, is Souq Television. Congratulations.
On behalf of the National SME Business Awards, year 2025, the first SME brand of the year, and the winner is Finance Bank.
On behalf of ASBON, I present to you this Nigeria National SME Business Awards year 2025 as the winner for Customer Choice Innovation in Business Management. Congratulations.
Are you a nano business in need of support? Visit www.asworld.org and register for free under the Nano Free membership portal today.
Join us and make a difference. Together, we can build a thriving future for Nigeria. So, with the help of the Asworld Collective Impact Initiative, please call 091-191-69773. Send an email to asworldcollectiveimpact@gmail.com.
Or donate to Fidelity Bank account 5600189903.
Let's join hands to empower dreams, create businesses, and transform Nigeria together. Your support, their growth, our future.
So that's it. Let's have the cake. Yeah, the cake stand. Let's get the center here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. President asked me to give a 10-minute speech. I'm not very good at speeches, so I'll tell you a story. I introduced as the MD of Seven Bottling Company, but I am the MD of Seven Bottling Company. I'm the chairman of the Food and Beverage Recycling Alliance, and I'm the founder of a company called SME Scale. When I meet people and they ask me and I tell them my titles, they say, how lucky you are. And I look them in the face and say, guys, I'm not lucky at all. This is not luck, this is determination, this is sweat, this is 24 hours work. Now why I'm telling you this story? Because I've been working very closely with SMEs for the last 2 years. And SMEs fit within 3 categories. The lucky SMEs, starting a company is so easy. Anyone can go tomorrow and start a company. The ones that work hard and smart and maybe a bit lucky, they scale up and grow very fast. The other ones, the second category of lucky SMEs are the ones that shut down. The third and worst category in my point of view, and please guys, what I will tell you now, you might not like it, but the worst category of SMEs are the SMEs that continue 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Because we are like, SMEs are like human beings. We are born as babies, then we become children, then we become teenagers. I went in a coma for 1 year, not knowing what to do. I was under shock. So I moved after that 1 year. I said, enough is enough, I have to do it. I started traveling and working in the worst countries in the world when it comes to safety. I don't know if anyone worked in Iraq after the American invasion. And people say Nigeria is unsafe. There, you have a probability of coming back home of 50% every day. I had to work 9 years, getting all my salary and paying to close my debts. And big thanks to Nigeria, the last year I came to Nigeria and I closed my last debt in Nigeria. So, if we look at that journey, when I closed my company, you all were much better than me. Nobody can debate that. But the moral of the story is, when we are determined to do things, when we do it the right way, the results will come. It took me 9 years to recover, and I made a promise to myself that I want to make people avoid that experience. How do I help people not go through this and go through nine years of suffering, and it was real suffering? Better than Nigerians that I should give that back. I've been in Nigeria for the last 18 years. I never lasted in any other country more than 1 year to 2 years. I madly fell in love with Nigeria. Nigeria made me what I am. And this is what I said. I want to pay back to this country, and paying back in double-sided way. One way through the economy, as it was mentioned, because SMEs are the economy. And the second way is, how do I minimize the suffering of people? Companies that struggle, based on my experience, how can I pass on that experience? Based on that, we do every 10 days a one-day workshop for 100 SMEs, where I manage 90% of the time. I sit with them, I talk with them, I joke with them, we plan together. And I categorize them in 3 categories. 1/3 come to the workshop to chop food. What do I do? They just come to eat, leave, finish, they disappear. Another 1/3 or more come there, they want their business to grow, but they want to move all the problems to me so that I grow their business. It doesn't work that way. But there's a 10%, every session I have 5 to 10 SMEs that I feel they are determined to grow. They have a good idea, they have the passion. This is all what is needed for you Whatever people tell you, sometimes I get offended by SMEs telling me, I'm waiting for the grant from here or intervention. I say, why the heck? You are not beggars, guys. Without money, with small money, if you have a great idea, you will get the money. Whether from BOI or from the grant or from a bank, if you have a great idea, you can do it. So the objective is not to make you better SMEs. The objective is to take you out of the SME space and go into the larger mega companies. You might say, yeah, this is the MD of the 7-Up, he can give us lots of grammar. But we have a 90% success rate with companies that are determined to succeed. A company called Mamalicious, I don't know who knows it here, they started with us a year ago with 20 million naira of revenue. Today they are making 2.2 billion naira. 2.2 billion naira. We have companies, small companies dealing with fufu, with gari. They are most interesting, but now they are repositioning all this and growing their business significantly. I'm not promoting SME scale-up because it's not for profit. So all the attendance, anything is for free. People come, attend, we guide them, they can come meet with me anytime. Only one condition, they must be determined to go out of SME space within 6 months. And this is what we are aiming for. So if you have the idea, if you have the passion, you are welcome to join us. Nothing to be paid. So, just get out of the concept that you believe you are small. Believe you are big, and there are lots of people that will help you grow there, but you have to do it. People will be there to just help you and guide the way. Thank you very much, guys.
Nano entrepreneurs makes about 85.5% of the total MSME ecosystem, meaning that we have 32.86 million MSMEs, but which are nano. And you begin to wonder, who are the nanos? Who do we refer to as nanos? These are small businesses, very small businesses, for the solopreneurs that most often are being run by one person, one man or woman, and then they hardly have to run. According to Sweden, their total turnover is always between 50,000 and 300,000 naira per annum. You can say they are indeed nano. This particular part of the ecosystem are not registered. Many of them are structured. They do not have access to funding, and they find it difficult to scale. So for us, we believe that for the country to succeed, it is important for every one of us in the ecosystem to focus more on the nano part of the ecosystem. And that's what we have done in our school. We decided that we are focusing on nano, and we take it as a decision, a strategic decision from January this year. We've been able to go to a number of markets, and what we do when we go to this market is to identify these nano entrepreneurs, see how we can uphold them. We also provide them funding, we are providing mentoring, and we support their business to scale. We also ensure that their businesses are insured. So we are now working with Group Microfinance, microinsurance, to ensure that they are insured in case of shocks. This will help them to sustain their business and to be able to grow and scale. In between January and now, we've been able to impact 287 different nanopreneurs. Today we invited about 10 of them to come from different sections, from Yanobaja, from Oba, from Ikeja, from Shomolu and the rest. Can you please stand up for recognition, nanos? Can you stand up for recognition? Can we put our hands together for them? Thank you so much for coming. Yes, thank you so much for coming. But the question is, can we do this alone? The answer is a capital no. It's a project we cannot do alone. We want to continue to ensure that they get the support they need. And for that to be sustained, we need government to support us. We need corporate organizations like yours to support us. we need individuals to support us. There are so many platforms that we can use to support us to keep the initiative rolling. One of such is identifying those nanos in your area and deciding to impact them through us. Could you like there are some other people in your church, in your mosque, in your street, or all of that, and you feel that there's need to raise them up, lift them up. Why don't you partner with Hasbro and see how we can support this? I told you I'm not going to be spending more than 3 minutes, so I'm going to watch this video. It's less than a minute. Can we have the video? We're going to watch the video less than a minute, and I will be off here. Thank you for your listening and attention. We're going to cut a cake to officially launch the Nano initiative right after the video. I am sure that with your permission, we will request that the commissioner help us to take pictures after the cutting of the cake. Can we have the cake on the stage, please?
The DJ representative, please join us. Thank you.
All right, we'll be very fast. I would like to, first and foremost, can we give Asbon an outstanding round of applause? This is an incredibly impactful initiative and one that actually affects the masses. And for that, I commend you. And that's one of the reasons I stayed, because I was listening to what you were saying. And quite frankly, this is the core mandate of the Ministry of Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investment. So on that note, and on behalf of all of everyone here on the stage here today, I will say, and may everyone, every business, I like that term, I'm going to be using it, solopreneur, continue to thrive and evolve into an entrepreneur. And on that note, can I say, after 3, shall we say after 3? Can we all say Asbon? On that note, after 3, can we all shout? I haven't said 3 yet. 1, 2, 3.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
The world of business is one filled with men and women willing to dine with risk. And when we seek African business shapers, we see individuals who have denied self to build conglomerates. From controlling over 90% of diesel trade in Nigeria, to almost throwing in the towel, then getting on the Forbes list, we present Olufemi Peter Otedola. The Nigerian businessman and philanthropist was born in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, on the 4th of November, 1962, into the family of late Sir Michael Otedola, the governor of Lagos State from 1992 to 1993. The University of Lagos Staff School, Akuka, welcomed Olufemi for his primary education and secondary education at Olivet Baptist High School, Oyo. Olufemi proceeded to Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife, for his first degree, graduated and joined the family printing press business, working hard and gaining experience. Femi Otedola ventured out starting Center Force Limited. The company focused on finance, investment, and trading. The oil and gas sector was Femi Otedola's next port of call. From quite a very humble beginning in the oil and gas sector, utilizing connections and networks of family and friends, he cultivated partnerships in diesel supply chain. Him being the last man to the final consumer. Challenges breed opportunities, and in Femi's case, it was a late delivery of diesel from his supplier with a broken truck, and he caught the idea. He could do better and provide better services. He ventured into diesel supply business, buying diesel from a retailer and supplying to companies. Femi Otedola encountered several difficulties securing his supply and timely meeting the demands of his growing clients. This definitely was an opportunity he identified in the fuel retail market. Otedola secured the finance, and Zenon Petroleum and Gas Limited was born, petroleum products marketing and distribution company. Otedola, owner and chairman of Zenon, in 2004 invested 15 billion naira in downstream infrastructure development and acquired storage depots at Ibadan, Apapa, as well as 4 cargo vessels, amounting to a combined total storage capacity of 147,000 metric tons. Zenon Petroleum and Gas Limited also acquired a fleet of 100 DAF fuel tanker trucks. By 2005, Zenon controlled a major share of the Nigerian diesel market, supplying fuel to most of the major manufacturers in the country, including Dangote Group, Cadbury, Coca-Cola, Nigerian Breweries, MTN, Unilever, Nestle, and Guinness. Zenon Petroleum and Gas was the name on major invoices, and Femi Otedola the name on every lips, playing toe-to-toe with major multinationals. Zenon, in a very short period, silenced the competition and almost unilaterally determined the price of diesel in Nigeria. The competitors came to Zenon for supply. Femi Otedola, with the massive success Zenon Petroleum and Gas achieved, bought a 28.7% stake in African Petroleum. Otedola branched into the financial sector and aggressively stocked up the shares of leading financial houses. He became a top shareholder in Zenith Bank, United Bank for Africa, and the largest importer of diesel in Nigeria. He acquired major shares of Africa's Finance Corporation, Mobile Oil Nigeria Limited, Chevron Texaco, and Visa Phone. Otedola has his hands deep in real estate investments, including an acquisition in February 2007 by Zenon of Starling House in Victoria Island, Lagos from the federal government. Lagos, London, Dubai, Monaco all have the signatures of FO Property Limited. He was appointed chairman of the Transcorp Hilton Hotel Abuja and tasked with driving its expansion and upgraded to a 7-star facility. Otedola has served as a member of the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council since 2004, was appointed by President Goodluck Jonathan to Nigeria's National Economic Management Team. Otedola is chief executive and president of the Seaforth Shipping Company Limited and was at one point Nigeria's largest ship owner after extending control over the distribution of diesel products. One of his ships, a flat-bottom bunker vessel with a storage capacity of 16,000 metric tons, was the first of its kind in Africa. In January 2006, Otedola was appointed a non-executive director of Transnational Corporation of Nigeria PLC, a multi-sectoral conglomerate established in 2004 by then President Olusegun Obasanjo to respond to market opportunities requiring heavy capital investment in Nigeria and across sub-Saharan Africa. He held this post until February 2011. Otedola was appointed chairman and chief executive of African Petroleum in 2007 through the acquisition of controlling stake in the business. Following Otedola's entry into the company, African Petroleum share price rose sharply, increasing the market capitalization from 36 billion to 217 billion naira in 6 months. In March 2009, Otedola became the second Nigerian after Aliko Dangote to appear on the Forbes list of dollar-denominated billionaires with an estimated net worth of $1.2 billion. Otedola announced the move to upgrade African Petroleum's liquefied petroleum gas storage terminals in Lagos, Kano, and Port Harcourt in October 2009. Harsh economic conditions necessitated by the slump in the oil prices and credit squeeze of 2008-09 led African Petroleum to record a loss in 2009. With the world oil price crash came difficult moments for Zenon and Otedola. He was very close to complete bankruptcy.
I said to myself, I was not going to have friends and enemies. I was going to have only competitors. I had two options: commit suicide or weather the storm.
African Petroleum, rebranded in December 2010, changed its name to Fort Oil plc. Otedola paid his near $1 billion debt and invested in the financial industry, making him a top shareholder in Zenith Bank and United Bank for Africa. Otedola restructured the business, focusing on technology and improved corporate governance, and in 2012, Fort Oil returned to profit. Otedola financed 57% of Fort Oil subsidiary, Amperion Limited, which acquired the 414 megawatts Geregu power plant for $232 million in 2013. Fort Oil improved financial position and diversification into power generation resulted in a 1,321% rise in its share price. The first half of 2014 saw the company's pre-tax profit more than double year on year to 4.1 billion naira. Revenue growth for the whole year was 33%. Fort Oil sold 70% of its equity to Swiss commodity trader Mercuria Energy Group in September 2015, giving Fort access to global commodity markets. The deal was thought to have given Otedola an estimated $200 million. In 2019, Femi Otedola sold Fort Oil plc and announced plans to change focus from oil to power with his company, Geregu Power plc. Geregu Power plc became the first power generation company to list on Nigerian Stock Exchange, demonstrating to stakeholders in the sector how they can fix financing and make profits sustainably. The company's market capitalization is now 726.75 billion naira, and the share price now 290.7 naira from the 2.5 billion shares that were listed at 100 naira each. Otedola, the chairman of Geregu Power, sold down a Geregu stake to bring on institutional investors. In October 2021, Femi Otedola was announced as the single largest shareholder of First Bank plc. FBN Holdings, the parent company of First Bank Limited, witnessed a commendable 437.9 billion naira surge in market capitalization. FBN Holdings appointed billionaire Femi Otedola as the new chairman of its board of directors, effective January 31st, 2024. Femi Otedola has had its share of controversies. Zenon was among the number of companies named in an alleged fuel subsidy scam report. This was followed by a case against Farouk Lawan for bribery. Otedola has also lost in the ever-evolving competing space of business acquisitions. Transcorp and Huheli Power Plant are two notable projects he closely bidded and lost. Femi Otedola philanthropy is quite remarkable. Otedola made a 300 million naira donation to the completion of the National Ecumenical Center in Abuja. In 2007, he gave 200 million to the State Security Trust Fund in a drive to reduce crime in Lagos. Donated 100 million naira to the Otedola College of Primary Education in Egbe. In 2008, he donated 80 million to the Faculty of Agriculture at the University of Port Harcourt. Femi Otedola pledged and redeemed $25,000 to the Super Eagles in the match against Algeria in 2019 AFCON. He gave all 750 students of Augustine University 1 million naira each. Femi Otedola sits comfortably on the Forbes billionaires list of top 20 richest people in Africa. Femi Otedola is married to Mrs. Nana Otedola and have 4 children: Olawumi Christy Tolani, Florence Ifeoluwa, Elizabeth Temi, and Fewa Otedola. Olufemi Peter Otedola is a standout astute business executive.
Lateef Jakande. Born Lateef Kayode Jakande in the Ekpetedo area of Lagos Island, Lagos State on July 1929. He studied at the Lagos Public School at Enowa, Lagos Island, then at Bonham Memorial Methodist School, Port Harcourt, King's College, enrolled at Ilesha Grammar School, where he edited a literary paper called The Quarterly Mirror. Jakande began a career in journalism in 1949 with a daily service and joined the Nigerian Tribune in 1953. The owner, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, appointed Jakande editor-in-chief of the Tribune in 1956. Jakande established John West Publications in 1975 after leaving Tribune and began to publish the Lagos News. He served as the first president of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN. Jakande ran for election as executive governor of Lagos State in 1979 on the Unity Party of Nigeria platform. His administration was effective and open and implemented the cardinal policies of his party. He introduced housing and educational programs targeting the poor, building new neighborhood primary and secondary schools, and providing free primary and secondary education. He gave poor people's children education, and many of them are now very prominent in the society today. Jakande established the Lagos State University and constructed over 30,000 housing units. After the military takeover in 1983, Jakande was charged, prosecuted, and convicted of treason and later pardoned. He served as Minister of Works under the Sani Abacha military regime. He died in Lagos on February 11, 2021. Lateef Jakande was the first civilian governor of Lagos State. Lateef Kayode Jakande, Souq Enlightenment.
Broad Street. Broad Street, situated in Lagos Island, is steeped in Nigerian history. Once the biggest financial hub of the country, it housed the headquarters of major banks, linked to CBN, the stock exchange, and the loads of lender companies. Broad Street is a historically significant street. It has played a central role in the development of Lagos and history, an important commercial and administrative center for the British colonial authorities. It was also a home to some of the city's earliest modern buildings. Broad Street was a residential area in the pre-colonial era. With the British came the Methodist Boys High School in 1878 and the Broad Street Prison in 1882, renamed Freedom Park. The General Hospital, which was a British military hospital, was built in 1893, being the first general hospital in Nigeria. The old British Secretariat building, which is now the Federal Ministry of Justice, was built in 1906. Broad Street has seen a full turn into modern commercial office blocks, complexes, skyscrapers, and markets from the Outer Marina through Akpombo early into the Adeniji Adele Road. Broad Street is one of the busiest streets in Nigeria on weekdays, where commercial activities take place day and night. From modern buildings to ancient structures, this street gives one a raw dose of life in Lagos. Broad Street is often referred to as Lagos Financial District. It boasts a mix of architectural styles, reflecting its long history, colonial era buildings, Victorian, and Edwardian architectural features, alongside more modern skyscrapers and structures. Broad Street remains a vital, vibrant part of Nigerian economy. Broad Street. Souq Enlightenment.
Anthony Onyemaechi Elumelu was born on the 22nd of March 1963 in Jos, North Central Nigeria, to Susanna Dominic Elumelu, originally from Delta State. Tony earned a degree in economics from Ambrose Ali University, where he laid the foundation for his future career, and then furthered his education at the University of Lagos, where he obtained a master's degree in economics. His academic journey also includes attending the Harvard Business School, where he completed the Owner of President Management program, equipping him with advanced business management skills. Tony currently serves as the chairman of Heirs Holdings, Transcorp, and United Bank for Africa, UBA, demonstrating his significant influence in the banking and investment sector. He founded the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which aims to empower African entrepreneurs through comprehensive training, mentorships, and funding opportunities. In addition to his professional achievements, he's also a family man, married to Dr. Adele Vivian Elumelu, and together they have 7 children. In 2020, his efforts were acknowledged when he was named one of Time's 100 most influential people in the world. Anthony Elumelu's net worth is estimated to be around $700 million, a testament to his successful ventures and strategic investments. Elumelu continues to be a driving force in the business world, advocating for sustainable economic growth and empowering the next generation of African entrepreneurs.
Muhammad Yunus was born on the 28th of June 1940 in the village of Batwa, Chittagong, a British Indian colony which is currently known as Bangladesh. He attended Lama Bazar Primary and Secondary School in his village and passed the matriculation examination into Chittagong Collegiate School, where he ranked 16th out of 39,000 students. After his graduation in 1961, Yunus joined the Bureau of Economics as a research assistant and was later appointed lecturer of economics at the Chittagong College. During that time, he also set up a profitable packaging factory on the side. In 1965, he received a Fulbright scholarship to study in the United States, where he obtained his PhD in economics from the Vanderbilt University Graduate Program in Economic Development. Between 1969 and 1972, after his keen education excellence of apex heights and proportions in the United States, he returned home and was appointed professor of economics at the University of Chittagong. He was eventually appointed onto the board of directors to the United Nations Foundation, where he served for 33 years. When Bangladesh suffered a famine in 1974, Yunus felt he had to do something for the very poor. In his country, he founded the Grameen Bank. His motivation was to create economic and social development for the very poor, giving long-term loans to those who wanted to start small enterprises to pay back when they can. The aim to help was to get many of them out of poverty. For this, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. Muhammad Yunus is a recipient of numerous international awards for his ideas and endeavors, including
Hello and welcome to Souq News Television. We're reaching you live from our studio in Lagos. I am Omobola Sandra. The federal government has declared Thursday, 12th June 2025, a public holiday to mark this year's Democracy Day celebration. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, made the announcement in a statement issued by the ministry's permanent secretary, Magdalene Ajani, congratulating Nigerians on 26 years of uninterrupted civil rule. The minister described June 12 as a symbol of Nigeria's democratic journey, rooted in truth, justice, and peace. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to strengthen democratic values under President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, noting that democracy thrives through continuous improvement driven by the people's will. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Mr. Dele Alake, has flagged off a capacity enhancement program for 11 Nigerian mining professionals at Murdoch University, Australia. The two-week training is the result of bilateral agreement between Nigeria and the government of Western Australia, supported by the Commonwealth Government and the Australian High Commission in Nigeria. The program aims to close skill gaps in Nigeria's mining sector through technical education in areas such as extractive metallurgy, sustainable geochemistry, and mineral research. Dr. Alake noted that the initiative, first discussed during the 2023 Africa Down Under Conference, reflects President Bola Tinubu's commitment to sector reform. He commended the Vice-Chancellor of Murdoch University and Australian officials for their partnership. Participants will also engage in fieldwork and knowledge exchange with our Australian mining experts. The minister urged them to use the training to improve local policy and promote a more inclusive, global competitive mining industry in Nigeria. Moving on, the Nigerian exchange closed the first week of June on a strong note, adding 1,810 billion naira to investors' wealth, despite a shortened trading week due to Eid al-Kabir holidays. The all-share index rose by 2.57% to 114,616.75, while market capitalization grew to 72,275 billion naira from 70,465 billion naira the previous week. Investors traded a total of 300,214 million shares worth 76,348 million naira in 64,156 deals. The financial services sector dominated activity with 2,313 million shares valued at 52,241 million naira. Key trades include Fidelity Bank PLC, Legend Internet PLC, and Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC. Owando PLC led gainers with a 25.77% increase. The Federal Executive Council has approved a 10-year national urban development policy aimed at reforming urban governance and promoting sustainable city growth. The policy introduces metropolitan planning commissions to manage infrastructure and service delivery across sprawling cities that now stretch beyond local government boundaries. It also adopts the 15-minute city model, encouraging neighborhoods where residents can access essential services within a short walk or a bike ride. According to the Ministry of Housing, Urban and Development, the policy supports green infrastructure, renewable energy, and climate-resilient urban design. With Nigerians' urban population expected to exceed 70% by 2050, the new framework seeks to ensure livable, efficient, and environmentally sound cities. The initiative aligns with the federal government's renewed hope agenda and global development commitments. And now moving on, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has urged the Dangote Petroleum Refinery to reduce its petrol price below the current 825 naira per litre. The association's publicity secretary, Chinedu Ukadiki, said the refinery enjoys favorable policies such as naira for crude oil supply, eliminating most foreign exchange burdens and making lower prices possible. He stated that Nigerians should be paying between 750 naira and 780 naira per litre, given the enabling environment and cost structure. Ukadike acknowledged that the refinery had ended fuel scarcity, but insisted that pricing must reflect Nigeria's oil-producing status. He added that petrol is still expensive compared to local expectations, despite being cheaper in neighboring countries. Meanwhile, Dangote maintains that the refinery has halved petrol prices compared to West African markets, attributing the gains to local refining and reduced dependence on imports. Many thanks for watching. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at Souq News Television. Just Africa comes up after this. I am Omobola Sandra.
Human achievements, goal setting, hard work, and dedication have been proven to be some of the elements towards success. The journey of remarkable individuals with lasting impact on the world are often filled with manifold stories, but through determination, they build their lives and make extraordinary contributions. Join me on the story of a trailblazer in business and philanthropy, Aiboje Ag Mokwede, a lawyer turned banker who has done well for himself, made an indelible mark within the banking sector, and has continued in his ambition of touching lives within Nigeria and across Africa. Aiboje Ag Mokwede. Within the Nigerian business space and philanthropy, few names resonate and are respected profoundly. Such is Aiboje Ag Mokwede. If you're just watching, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great documentaries. Like, share, and comment. Known as a successful business mogul, banker, investor, and a philanthropist who cares about making difference, Ag Mokwede's story is one of hard work, creativity, and a desire to drive positive change across Africa. Born to civil service parents on September 24, 1966, in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria, he hails from Sabongida Ora, Edo State. Aiboje spent his formative years with his parents in Lagos, where he had his primary education at St. Saviour's School. He enrolled into Federal Government College, Kaduna, and at age 16, he was admitted to study law at the University of Benin, where he graduated at a young age of 19 with a law degree, displaying early signs of his exceptional intellect and drive. Called to the Nigerian bar in 1987, he started his career in 1988 as a lawyer at Continental Merchant Bank during his National Youth Service Corps NYSC year. In 1991, he joined Guaranty Trust Bank PLC, GT Bank, where he rose to prominence as an executive director. His big moment came in 2002 when he led the acquisition of Access Bank, turning it from a small regional bank into a big player, a banking powerhouse in the industry. his career, Ike Mokwede has taken on different leadership roles, including Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Access Bank until December 2013. He later became president of the Nigerian Stock Exchange and retired in 2017, but remains on the National Council. Bowing out of Access Bank, he was given a befitting send-off.
No man or combination of men could transform what we met in Access Bank in 2002 into what would cause this type of people to come and celebrate today.
His foresight and managerial acumen have brought him chairmanship and directorial roles in prominent organizations such as African Finance Corporation, Associated Discount House Limited, Petrolon Energy, among others, thereby contributing greatly to their growth and sustainability. Hard work, they say, pays. Igboje Mokwede's hard work earned him many awards and honors. He received the National Productivity Order of Merit Award in 2009, conferred with Commander of the Order of the Niger CON in 2011 by the then President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, during his administration for contributing to banking and finance. As a visionary leader, he was installed into the E&Y World Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame in 2011 as the EY West Africa Entrepreneur of the Year and named African Banker of the Year in 2013. These amounting to how much others values his leadership and ideas. He got honored by Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers of Nigeria. Beside his work, Ige Mokwede also gives back to society. This philanthropist is involved in efforts to improve governance and healthcare across Africa through his Ige Mokwede Foundation, making a positive impact on people's lives. He initiated the Adopt a Healthcare Facility program in 2019, and he is the chairman of ABC Health and director of the Private Sector Health Alliance of Nigeria. He is the founder of chairman of Coronation Capital Limited since 2015 and has contributed to the growth of the Coronation ecosystem. Coronation Capital Limited, with other arms of its businesses, also bettered Coronation Art Gallery in Lagos on the 13th of May 2022, a platform for showcasing exceptional works of art that embodied the essence of cultural significance and artistic expression. Igboje Mokwede founded Coronation Art Gallery with the vision of democratizing art, foster appreciation and understanding for the artistic world, and making it accessible to a wider audience.
Bumi Augusto is, I knew Bumi when she was born. I know her parents, and I know all her siblings. She's a beautiful, wonderful, gifted Nigerian artist. And just like many of the others here, the piece behind me is a triptych, long throats, all up to longer throats. I actually thought that I was going to caption this collection. You know, this is really a microcosm of my entire collection, but I was going to capture it longer throats because this represents a lot of this collecting I did during COVID. Many of these pieces actually were not in Nigeria. I brought them home. I'll tell you something. I'm known for collecting masters, you know, the Enwonwus and the Yusuf Grillos and so on. I still do, okay? And I kind of stuck to that genre of classic. Those are the people who, when I was growing up, as I told you, those are the people who were my parents, either just older than them or contemporaries. So I grew up knowing these artists as my uncles, okay? So my first collecting was, you know, from works, you know, done by masters like that. After a while, you know, these works are really priced in. But Bumi Augusto, you know, her works, you know, which may appear even a bit pricey now, in 10 years' time, you know. So this is also hosted by Coronation, which are companies that are all about wealth creation. So there's also the investment angle. I don't collect for investments, but you know, with all that these great Nigerian and African artists, the young ones, have been doing, and the way their prices have been rising, you know, I've got to focus on investments now.
He collaborated with the Nigerian Civil Service to digitalize work processes and public service delivery in October 2021. Recognizing 43 public servants at the 2022 Civil Service Award ceremony on behalf of the Ige Mokwede Foundation with an encouragement of cash prize worth 500,000 naira for each awardees.
It is my understanding that annually 43 public servants will be recognized in this fashion, and so with effect from the 2022 Civil Service Awards ceremony, on behalf of the Ige Mokwede Foundation, we will be putting an endowment with effect from this award session, whereby each awardee receives a cash prize of 500,000 naira. And in the interest of digital culture, the credits will go directly to your accounts.
Among his many certifications, affiliations, and fellowships, Ige Mokwede holds Triumph MBA from the London School of Economics, New York University, and HEC Paris. He attended an executive management program at Harvard Business School in the year 2000, and he is a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, also appointed to the International Advisory Board of Oxford University's Blavatnik School of Government. Ige Mokwede is a honorary fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria and had received an honorary doctorate of science from Olabisi Onabanjo University in 2018. Also honored by Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers of Nigeria last year in a groundbreaking ceremony.
If the operators of our markets, of a nation's capital markets, are properly resourced in terms of skill, capacity, and conduct, nothing can stop that nation and its citizens from leaving the tarmac and moving from third world to first world. Nothing can stop it. The correlation between the advancement of financial markets and the advancement of national economies is perfect. It's not almost, it is perfect. And so, you understand why I have tied myself to the future of this market and why I have tried from the very word go that my voice was heard to get the public sector and the elite within the private sector to understand that we cannot ignore this market.
Igboje is the first African co-chairman of the Global Business Coalition on Health and chairman of the Friends of the Global Fund, Africa. The business mogul has made significant donations to the Global Fund. He is the vice chairman of the Global Citizen Nigeria and creator of the Nigerian Solidarity Support Fund. There is always a story, or say many stories, behind every success, and this Ige Mokwede has shared in a book called Leaving the Tarmac, Buying a Bank in Africa, Red Door 2020. In it, he talked about how he and others turned Access Bank into a major success, showing his determination and vision.
On a personal note, I think the first thing is that I left Access Bank. I retired as CEO in 2013, and I knew that I needed time off
just to recharge my battery, so to speak. I didn't think I would have more than a year and a half before my perpetual motion character, kind of took over once again. And so I wanted to use that period as productively as possible. So I had a year and a half, and what better to do in a year and a half, than write a book. And for me, it was an opportunity, for posterity to tell the story to my children in a structured sense, because before then, I just hadn't had the opportunity to sit down with my kids and say, this is what I did today, or this is what I did yesterday, and these are the highs and the lows of this journey. Herbert and I went through a hell of an experience between 2002 and 2013, and for him, that experience has continued. We learned so much. We were exposed to so many things. We had really, really great mountains that we climbed. We scaled some pretty high heights and so on. In a sense, it would be very selfish of us to, lock this up in a box and not share it with others, because I think our experience, can be used by any other person who has an ambition to go out there and do, whatever it is they seek, whatever it is they dream about. And so the notion of writing for posterity and recording this period in my life, and probably more important, the notion of preparing a way for others, those are the things that drove me to write the book.
Ig Imokwede, former managing director of Access Bank Group, returns to lead Access Holdings, replacing Abubakar Jimo. His return after a decade aims to realize the shared vision of the late co-founder, Herbert Wigwe. Access Holdings PLC, trading under the Access Corp ticker on the Nigerian exchange, began to feel Agboje's progressive impact as its stock value increased by 1.52% following his appointments as chairman. Agboje Ig Imokwede is back again. Ig Imokwede is married to Ofovwe Ig Imokwede and has 4 children, namely Ohiozoje, Aima, Morenike, and Renown. He has been able to balance his family life with his professional achievements, setting an example as a leader and role model to many. He is an ordained minister of the Promised Land Ministry. In the annals of Nigerian business history, his story stands out, showcasing the power of vision, perseverance, and giving back to the community. From his humble beginnings to global recognition, he inspires others to dream big and make a difference. His legacy remains as he continues to make strides in business and philanthropy.
A very good morning to you and welcome to Just Africa, where we spotlight bold ideas and transformative solutions shaping the continent's future. Today, we explore a critical frontier in Africa's development, innovative financing for green energy startups in Nigeria and across Africa. As climate change tightens its grip and fossil fuel reliance grows increasingly unsustainable, a new generation of African entrepreneurs are leading the charge into clean, renewable energy. But vision alone is not enough, so financing is the fuel that turns ideas into infrastructure. In today's edition, we will dive into how green startups are navigating financial barriers, leveraging creative funding and models, and building scalable, sustainable solutions tailored to Nigeria's unique energy challenges. And I'm not doing this by myself. Good morning to you, the most beautiful, swift, and daring too.
Priya, good morning. First of all, happy holidays. Did you get
holidays.
salami?
Yes, I ate a lot of it.
Oh, well,
No, sorry, I
I had
didn't.
plenty.
No,
I had
sorry, I
plenty.
didn't.
Why? Because me, I have meat in the bag. That's what I'm
Because
asking
I was
you.
busy resting and just sleeping to get back my strength for today's work.
So, Priya, it's like a privilege being on set with you. You're very intelligent. And like I tell people, you're very British. You're very, you don't beat around the bush, especially when it comes to information. And you do look good. I love the tie. I love the suit.
Thank you so
For how many
much.
girls, I think a lot of girls are fainting. But let's get down to business.
Yes, please.
Fantastic introduction, by the
Yes.
way. And when you talk about green energy, the first thing we must talk about is the fact that Nigeria was the first country in Africa to actually start the green bond. And the green bond is when you can go to the bank and get financial help. It's the financial help is coming with the fact that they have already put in the intricacies of maybe if it fails, the business, like inverters and all that. So Nigeria was the first country for their banking system to start to give young entrepreneurs the green bond, which is very fantastic. Of course, we also have the ETF, which manages our transformation plan, because coming to safe energy, there has to be a plan. And so when we're looking at the safe energy plan, we are looking at solar systems, lighting, renewable energy, good energy, tech energy, clean energy. But there are a lot of bottlenecks involved.
Yes.
The first one I want to talk about, sorry, before we start, is Souq talked about starting, inverters, putting up inverters about, I think, was it $10 billion? And Nigerians criticized it. For me, that's a problem, because once Souq starts to work with green energy, it means that all parastatals will start to work with green energy.
Or parastatals. But why doesn't it seem like, first of all, the reason why we want to harness the green energy is because, or want to take advantage of green energy, one of the bottleneck or one of the reasons that we are given is because of the climate requirement for us to create green, fossil fuel is moving, is getting out of the way.
Yes.
But the thing is, if we are going to do away with that, we leave our black gold beneath our feet intact without touching it. And that will not go well for us. And I remember as a result of this, President Muhammadu Buhari in the previous administration, when he attended United Nations General Assembly, he said that by 2060, Nigeria will become zero emission of gas,
Yes.
or of these things that makes the ozone layer deplete.
Yes.
So if we are going to do that, doesn't it look like 2060 is already at the corner?
It's not
Do you
so
think-
far.
Yeah, no, it's not far. It's here already.
Yes.
Do you think we'll be able to meet up with that 2060? I doubt. And I don't think it's because the world is preaching green energy, we should run away from it. However, it's good to look at Nigerian startups that are taking advantage of it.
this.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yes.
Great. So we already have our guest and he's standing by. So we're going to break for a while. When we return, our guest will join us on the program, myself and Swift. We will be having a robust conversation with the guest. You don't want to miss that. Just stay with us.
At the Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC, we are committed to driving sustainable growth and development across Africa through innovative training and research. Our mission: empowering leaders, policymakers, and professionals with the tools they need to create lasting change. With customized training, dynamic research programs, and study exchanges on leadership, management, and other critical development topics, ADSC offers a platform for exchanging cutting-edge ideas and global best practices. We provide comprehensive services in research and consultancy, capacity building and training, education programs, publishing, and knowledge sharing. Our esteemed faculty, composed of seasoned experts and researchers, ensures a learning experience that is insightful and practical. We specialize in policy development, implementation strategies, monitoring, and evaluation. At ADSC, learning is engaging and enjoyable. Our unique methodology includes talks, interactive exercises, games, video screenings, and lively seminar discussions. all in a comfortable and friendly environment. Ready to make an impact? For more information, email us at info@adstudycenter.com or call +234 912 439 2362. Visit us today at www.adstudycenter.com to explore our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
In Africa, there's one man who has consistently been a household name and index of reference in the business arena. The name Aliko Dangote apparently stands tall. The Africa's richest man clearly benchmarks success, wealth, and prosperity. His unofficial love and passion for business are quite phenomenal. These can be traced to his background. Born in April 10, 1957 to Maria Sanusi Dangote and Mohammed Dangote, his maternal ancestors were prosperous caravan traders under British colonial rule, and his grandfather, Alhaji Sanusi Dangote, was a commodity trader. Dangote's grandfather was heavily involved in his upbringing and helped ignite his entrepreneurial spirit. For Dangote, one would ever assume his wealth was handed out or easily channeled, being an offspring of Dangote, for his success didn't come through daydreaming. Dangote complemented inherited fortune with deliberate hard work and innovation to pave his way to the top. Those who knew Dangote while growing up will not be surprised at his outstanding success. At age 8, Dangote uses pocket money to buy sweets, which he and others sell for a profit. Everything big in life starts from little. Taking a clue from this, Dangote, from a seed loan of 500,000 obtained from his uncle, started business, which he traded commodities and business supplies, primarily cement. By 1981, his firm was successful that he had incorporated other businesses and established the Dangote Group. His empire extended to foodstuffs, including sugar, salt, wheat, cement, haulage, and other business concerns. Among his holdings were Dangote Industries, Dangote Bale Nigeria, Dangote Cement PLC, Benue Cement Company PLC, Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, Dangote Flour Mills, and Nascent Ally Industries PLC. In addition to his holdings in Nigeria, the Dangote Group has operations in several other African countries. With these giant strides in the business arena, Dangote will forever be grateful to his grandfather for giving him wings to fly. According to Forbes, an American business magazine, Dangote remains the richest man in Africa with an estimated fortune of $13.9 billion. Dangote is one Nigeria, highly decorated with honors as well. His urine service and huge investment also got him both local and international recognitions. Like the Guardian Man of the Year in 2015, he won the 2016 African Business Leader Award organized by the African American Institute. Dangote was cited as one of the top most influential Africans by the New African magazine in 2015, 2017, 2018, and 2019. He was recently conferred with the prestigious award of the National Order of the Lion by the President of Senegal. When it comes to breaking jinx, Dangote has it in full measures. He took his pioneering and jinx-breaking adventure to another dimension with the unveiling of the $20 billion refinery, widely adjudged as the largest single-train petrochemical refinery in the world. The refinery has the total capacity of 650,000 barrels of crude oil per day and is expected to earn as much as $21 billion in annual income. Situated on 2,500 hectares site at the Lekki Free Trade Zone, Lagos, it is supplied with crude oil by the largest subsea pipeline infrastructure in the world. When fully in operation, the refinery will provide 135,000 permanent jobs in the region. When it comes to family life, Dangote seems to, however, prefer maintaining a low profile. He got married to Zainab in 1977 but divorced at an unknown date. He was later married to Maria Mohammed Rufai. Dangote has 3 daughters named Alima, Maria, Fatima, and he also adopted a son named Abdurrahman. Dangote is one grounded authority that combines real intelligence with self-effacing demeanor, a persona that naturally makes kindness. Like an eagle, Dangote's foresight and unusual business acumen make him a rare to come by. Though he owns chains of business in Nigeria and across Africa, the quest by this uncommon risk taker to conquer more business territories may not wane anytime soon.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program Is Just Africa. And joining us today is a distinguished voice in the conversation, Dr. Mahmoud Ibrahim Mahmoud. He is an accomplished geospatial information technology specialist and environmental sustainability scientist specializing in satellite remote sensing and geographic information system applications. He immerses his science, technology, and art skills in the energy, climate, food, water, land, and nexus space. He is currently a senior climate change fellow working on methane mitigation and reduction in Nigeria's oil and gas sectors with the African Policy Research Institute. Dr. Mahmoud, you're welcome to Just Africa today. Many thanks for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity given to me.
It's good to have you today joining us, Dr. Mahmoud. If you can hear me clearly, I would like to, I'm not the only one having this conversation with you. I'm having a conversation with my guest. With my co-angle, my colleague, rather.
Good morning, Dr. Mahmoud. How are you doing? It's so nice to have you here.
Good morning. I'm pleased to be here with you this morning as well.
Thank you so much. Now, let's get started, Dr. Mahmoud. Now, given your work with remote sensing and GIS technology, how can geospatial data enhance the planning and financing of green energy infrastructure in underserved or off-grid areas across Nigeria?
Oh, thank you so much for this very interesting question. You have actually taken me back home and on practices that I have been involved in for quite a while now. So, just like you mentioned, remote sensing, GIS, or geospatial technology, as one might define it, they are data-driven solutions that allows for investment, mapping, tracking, and development. So there is actually that locational position where you can actually identify georeferenced investment. And one of such is the green energy that you have made mention of, which typically either wind, either solar, all these are geographically enabled energies that can be tapped on the basis of the suitability of a location. So yes, these technologies will go a long way in precisely identifying areas that are very suitable, marginally suitable, or least suitable. And on that basis, that will inform investment on, particularly when you want to look at optimized investment before you invest a dime, a kobo, you want to know whether that location is suitable for that kind of investment. And this applies in the case of the green energy. Typically, say, for instance, you want to take green flare, you want to, take flare stacks or maybe gas to energy. You need the specific locations that are suitable for that. You want to site wind mines. You need specific locations that are suitable for that. You want solar energy intensity. You need suitable locations for that. So this is where geospatially or geo-referenced and technologies can support green investment.
Brilliant. Well said. So I want to ask a question. What are the climate changes or the climate challenges when it comes to financing that you think has affected the growth of green energy in Nigeria, using it as a case study for Africa?
If I understand your question the way you have actually crafted it typically means that you are actually referring to locations and their vulnerability. So vulnerability of people and places to a kind of a particular investment. Now, in this case, and typically in the Nigerian space, you know Nigeria has the abundance of green energy and its potential, and this is very, very significant when you want to put money to either solar, wind, or hydroelectric power, and then you want, participation from the public-private sectors, and so definitely you need to ensure that the locations are actually very suitable. But nature has its way of affecting the benefits that you want to draw from green energy. So you have a lot of climate variability that and changes that occur due to changes in art processes, due to human-induced activities such as land use, land cover change, and then due to greenhouse gases that we tend to kind of put into the atmosphere. And typically, CO2 and methane are typically top on the list of and how greenhouse gases tend to affect the ozone layer, and then we begin to have warmings, and then we begin to have some of these impacts that we look at. So in Nigeria already, you can see the frontline states are already beginning to experience some climate impacts, which is actually kind of cascading into some of the unrests that we have. And that on its own also tends to affect investment, because either for small scale farming, off-grid solutions, border settlements and locations that are supposed to be benefiting from the lots and lots of potential from climate related energy are not able to, because security concerns are there. And then that in a way also kind of cascade into the kind of investments that will go in, because they are all kind of connected to one another.
Thank you, Dr. Mahmoud. Now, there's something that I want to discuss about. You made reference of the abundance of the climate, whether it's wind energy or other sources through which that the country or Nigeria as a space, as a location can use. But it looks as if green energy in itself is expensive, if not more expensive than what Nigeria has more abundantly. When we talk about the crude oil that we have abundantly beneath our feet, when we talk about gas, Nigeria is gas abundant. The crude oil that we talk about in Nigeria is even less in quantity compared to the gas that we have in Nigeria, which can serve effectively for energy transition plan that the government is actually preparing for. So if we are to go by that, don't you think startups all running into the green energy sector is going to be quite expensive, and they may not be able to cover the the geography of the people or the kind of people that should be able to access those goods in place of the normal conventional electricity that we use?
Well, and I think as part of the, thank you so much for that question. And really, when you typically want to look at startups, I think there is the foundational effort that needs to be put in place. This comes from government support. So it means that on one hand, there has to be strategic government policies and incentives. So you want to look at tax breaks, you want to look at feed-in tariffs, and then you want to look at regulatory support, which is kind of crucial for a conducive environment for green energy startups. And typically, you want to also see that you are engaging with the private sector where you want to kind of go through the venture capital, impact investing, and green bonds, which my colleague who is in the studio with you actually mentioned, which more like green bonds. This is very crucial capital and expertise that is needed to scale up energy incentives. But in addition, you want to look at there is actually the role of financing, and then there have to be financing mechanisms where you can look at options like more like crowdfunding, carbon finance, and public, private, and community partnerships, which can actually, bridge funding gaps and unlock opportunities for the green sector. And by that, the startups can benefit from it. But these are some inherent challenges that we have to deal with because if you want to address challenges such as the grid infrastructure limitations and policy consistency, you need collaboration, you need investors, you need also the buy-in of startups, which is essential for a sustained set of growth. These are outlooks that have to be looked at where you must come up with local and innovative climate financing models and technology adoption that can actually work. I want to give you a case in time, which is the Nigerian green flare. So there is actually a company already that is a green flare, Nigerian-led pilot that has looked at capturing associated gas that is being ordinarily flared, which is a wastage, but is now being used to generate compressed gas, and then a first of its kind, where you can actually use it for crypto mining and then some AI or machine learning and powering. So this is it's a cheaper source of energy if you look at it, because hungry energy solutions actually needs financing. But if you want to convert gas flare to energy, it's quite cheaper than some of those other available green energy sources that you want to look at. So in the beginning, you need some finance. Capital is capital intensive, but along the line, you will see it begins to reduce. This is a typical example of what we see in Nigeria with regards to the solar panel issue that at some point the federal government is already having a dual stand whether or not to ban importation, but then to focus on this amount of dollars that we are giving jobs outside for local people in Nigeria, and which startups is part of these statistics.
Doctor, thank you so much, because you talked about importation, and my next question actually runs towards that. Statistics shows that in Singapore, it takes 36 hours to clear a container. In Nigeria, you are looking at bottlenecks that may take you between 3 to 6 weeks, if you are lucky, or 3 months to clear a container. You talked about the importation of solar panel. One of the things that a lot of green energy startups complain about is the importation of solar panels takes so much time, and this leads to, of course, increased cost when you are looking at demurrage and all that. In your opinion, what do you think the government and people who are startups, especially facing towards green energy, can do so that they can be something, the transition can be easier for everybody and make it cheaper?
Oh, thank you so much for this question as well. You will see that port practice in Nigeria is really bad. And I must say that first of all, they have multiple channels, whereas other countries are already adopting a single window payment channel to process all of these. If you look at the environment of the port, it's really not also conducive to be able to clear goods within, a kind of a limited amount of time. So you typically see that ease of doing business, the business enabling environment is already, stifled by multi window payment system, multi agencies involved. Whereas all this can be made into a single window, and then from that practice, you have a well sanitized port. But from my own thought, I will think that there has to be a special vehicle or a special window for startups where this will serve as an incentive to encourage businesses or small businesses that are within this space. I think that will go a long way. I want to encourage local financing efforts from maybe development finance institutions like the central bank to look at this issue. More like isolated, and to create a special window that will support startups in this regard.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mahmoud. Now, my next question goes this way. Now, it looks as if a brief conversation that the government has had with the Chinese, they've talked about establishing electric vehicle manufacturing plant here in Nigeria. And recently, if we take our direction to the 360,000 barrels of Aliko Dangote refinery established in the Lekki Deep Seaport area, we could start talking about propylene, which is one of the byproducts. And that specific product has a very significant place in the Nigerian economy in that it almost serves all essences in diverse ranges of industry. Talk in the car industry, plastic production, talking about manufacturing, furniture, and others, including syringes in the health sector, or if we're talking about infrastructure in building roads. Its use of that propylene is diverse. But it looks like we do not have factories available in the country, and including the alternative power source, the renewable energy, the importation of which you spoke about with my colleague. I don't think we have factories in the country that is ready to manufacture this, even though we have some of the raw materials that could come as a way of byproducts from the oil refining. So what do you think the government should put in place? How can startups be encouraged to establish such factories, though it's capital intensive, so that we can cover that gap and we can completely bar out the foreign importation of these products into our country?
Well, thank you so much for this question as well. I want to start as an entry point into this conversation by looking at what we have in terms of our TVET, technical and vocational education and training issues. We have a lot of skill gaps. And incidentally, we're not doing, the government is making efforts to see how there is a revival of the TVET kind of scheme, where you don't necessarily need an advanced degree, but you need a technical and vocational education training, which usually is a way to go. Because if you go to Australia, if you go to Germany, if you go to all of these advanced countries, you see handy men and women have an entry point to contribute significantly into the economy. Now, this skill gap has to be addressed on one hand before you want to do a ban like Nigeria is looking at. And just like you said, there are still a lot of policy issues that needs to be addressed, because rather than encouraging importation. Don't forget that there is a China-America conversation on tariffs. There is currently, U.S. president and Elon Musk conversation around electric vehicle issues. Policy issues are still very lagging, and Nigeria needs to address this. So it's good to copy, but we should not just blindly copy and paste. We need to know how to copy and then how to paste in an appropriate manner. So policy issues needs to be addressed. You have a lot of, government institutions like NASENI, like SON, like all of these institutions needs to be strengthened to be able to get the quality that we deserve in terms of whether creating is a kind of limits of importation, but then in country to begin to encourage investments that would kind of support this initiative in a way. So Nigeria don't needs to really start looking at knowing fully well that we have resources to make batteries or to support battery production. Then those production lines need to be urgently developed and then plugged into the TVET scheme. And then while we look into a 2-3 year or 5 year plan where we are trying to locally develop around this, that is when a proper conversation around ban can come. But otherwise, we just want to ban, and then we don't have what with the local and capacity to really, address this gap in terms of both the resources, the manpower, the skill, the financing. So I think that there's need for some structure around a plan, a strategic plan, how Nigeria can address this issue. Otherwise, I think we will still be joking around some of the things we do. And typically, we are used to fire brigade approach, but I don't think fire brigade approach is the way to go. We need to actually sit down to plan properly around this.
Okay, talking about the fire brigade approach, I liked what you said. I want to ask a question, and this is very personal to me. In your opinion, do you think that the Nigeria green energy is being sabotaged by our European counterparts? Talking about, like, data shows that about $35 billion has been put into the African economy to boost green energy. If there was any continent in the world that this amount was put into, and by now we wouldn't be talking about the fact that we don't have factories, there's importation crisis. By now all this would be working smoothly. Every day we are seeing Europeans, people from China, Tanzania, everywhere coming into Nigeria to handle factories and ensure that there's importation. So my question for you, sir, since you deal in data, do you think that the Nigerian Green Energy Institute is being sabotaged so that our small business enterprise don't pick up the way they are supposed to, pick up?
Thank you so much for this question. You see, data is the next oil of the coming horizon. But typically, we are not where it seems Nigeria is averse to data. I give you an instance. If you ask Nigeria that, do we know exactly how much oil that is being extracted from the wellhead in Nigeria? These are topics. Do we know how much gas? Before, I have worked and I'm on leave right now, and that's why I'm just happy to speak about this. That before the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency developed the Nigerian gas flare tracker that brings in transparency around how much gas is being flared. There's no data really in the open space that is able to show us how much how much of flaring is going on. And then you don't forget that when data becomes in the open space, you will have, CSOs, you will have researchers that will be able to uptake this data, carry out researches, create models that will look at some data-driven options and exit plan around the current challenge that we have. So it's absurd to see that planning in Nigeria is done without credible data. And then those who even try to invest in data collection, you will typically see that they are not typically Nigerian organizations, because other people who come into Nigeria, first of all, will start from the fundamentals. So you have a baseline, and then they continue collecting consistent data. It is on that basis they will now be able to create models. So if you ask, there is a lot of data gaps, data concerns, and when you don't have data to be able to project either in the short term, in the medium term, or long term, I think this will create some of these fire brigade approach that I mentioned. Or when you take decisions, you will see that you have to continue changing or making reversal. So I think whether or not, before an external party can come and start mutilating or disturbing your plans, your projection, there is also an internal complicity. So within Nigeria, there are people who are aiding and abetting whatever you want to kind of allege or assume or think that there is the external influence that is playing on this. So I mean, be it as it may, if the external parties is about business, it's about interest. So if they keep doing or playing all of these kind of games with us, internally, Nigeria also needs to have some credible and standardized efforts that speaks to data, that is data driven, to be able to know or understand some of these international politics, geopolitics that is playing around whether or not and should we allow Africa to play on this. Because a typical case in time is the Dangote refinery, the largest single train on earth. But you see, I mean, consistently, I mean, the Dangote group with their dedication, with their commitment, with continuous financing, they had a business intelligence data that allowed them to look at the horizon, and they were committed and dedicated to ensuring that this refinery came to life. And if you look at the impact of this refinery across Europe and across the world, you will see that without credible data, to be able to kind of frame your decision and your resilience around something you believe in, then one will also be playing ball to whatever externalities in economics, as economists usually say. Externalities will always be there. You can't do away with that. But internally, you must also make a preparation, and your preparations has to be built on data and to be able to carry on your agenda properly.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Mahmoud. Now, please don't go, stay on the line. We will go on a break. But whilst we're on break, Dr. Mahmoud, I want to give you something to chew on so that by the time we return from the break, we'll have our conversation will start from that place. Now, there are some data or some facilities and amenities that are available in the urban areas that sustains development, transformation in economy, business, and development. Now, we want to see how we can use this information as a GIS specialist, how we can translate or recreate this data in rural areas so that both the rural area and the urban area can have the same facilities that made them operate and make them operate in same optimum of efficiency in business economy. By the time we're back from this break, that is the direction that our conversation would go. It's still Just Africa, live on Souq News Television, and we're reaching you live from our studios in the commercial city of Lagos. We'll be back in a moment. Do stay with us.
Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC, we are committed to driving sustainable growth and development across Africa through innovative training and research. Our mission, empowering leaders, policymakers, and professionals with the tools they need to create lasting change. With customized training, dynamic research programs and study exchanges on leadership, management, and other critical development topics, ADSC offers a platform for exchanging cutting-edge ideas and global best practices. We provide comprehensive services in research and consultancy, capacity building and training, education programs, publishing and knowledge sharing. Our esteemed faculty, composed of seasoned experts and researchers, ensures a learning experience that is insightful and practical. We specialize in policy development, implementation strategies, monitoring, and evaluation. At ADSC, learning is engaging and enjoyable. Our unique methodology includes talks, interactive exercises, games, video screenings, and lively seminar discussions, all in a comfortable and friendly environment. Ready to make an impact? For more information, email us at info@adstudycenter.com or call +234 912 439 2362. Visit us today at www.adstudycenter.com to explore our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
The National Theatre, Igomu. Built during the military regime of Olusegun Obasanjo and finished in the time for the Second World Festival of Black Arts and Culture, Souq, in 1977. The theatre holds amazing treasures and memories. The artworks fill everyone with pride. The National Arts Theatre is visible from the motorway which connects Lagos Island and the mainland. The National Theatre is packed with the artworks of a legendary contemporary Nigerian artist, stained glass walls by Yusuf Grillo, sculptures and murals by Lamidi Fakeye, Erabo Emopai, and many others. It was put to full use for a month as one of the 4 venues of the Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, tagged Souq 77. The complex hosted 16,000 participants from 56 African countries and the diaspora in an unprecedented showcase of African music, fine art, literature, drama, dance, and religion. The National Art Theatre was built and designed by Techno Experts Troll, a Bulgarian company mirroring the Palace of Culture and Sports in Varna, Bulgaria. Completed in 1976, the building is one of the largest and most beautiful of its kind on the African continent. It consists of a central hall with 5,000 seats, a collapsible stage that can be quickly rebuilt, a conference hall with 1,600 seats, 2 large exhibition halls, and 2 cinemas with 800 seats each. The theater complex has a dressing room for artists, a garage, offices, coffee bars, and a buffet. It has indoor TV and radio systems, as well as booths with facilities for simultaneous translation of languages and hectares of lush green lawn around. The majestic structure sits in Igomu like a quiet mountain, mesmerizing visitors and passers-by. The National Theatre, Souq Enlightenment. The 3 Wise Men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of 3 men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever-accommodating center of excellence is no doubt an astounding work of art. Originally built under the administration of Colonel Raji Rasaki, designed by Bodu Shodende in 1991 and standing over 12 feet high, referred to as Agba Meta or Aro Meta, the 3 sculptured chiefs were placed along the Lagos-Ibadan toll gate to welcome people coming into Lagos State. The statue called the 3 Wise Men by many has become a major signature for the state. 3 white-capped chiefs clad in white wrappers knotted across their shoulders and with clenched right fists are shown in the artwork. The images fascinate and create impressions in the minds of visitors coming into the state, captivating the attention of visitors who look with keen interest, pondering on the messages which the posture of the engraved images signifies. The three wise men has been relocated thrice from its original position at Ojodu Berger end of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to Magodo area before its final relocation to its present site at Olowopopo Drive. The sculpture has suffered severe damages over the years and renovated. Bodun Shodende, through this sculpture, depicted the highest honor that can be afforded to anyone in the eco-greeting tradition. The three wise men, Arometa, Souq, Enlightenment.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. It's Just Africa. We've been having conversation with Dr. Mahmoud Ibrahim Mahmoud. He's a GIS specialist, and we are talking about using green energy. How startups can take advantage of green energy to bring about development and establish their businesses in the continent of Africa, but specifically in Nigeria. Welcome back again, Dr. Mahmoud. Many thanks for joining us this morning on the program.
Thank you.
Welcome. Now, let's go to urban. Let's say we are moving from rural to urban transformation or rural-urban transformation. Why is Lagos the way it is? Why is Abuja the way it is? What kind of data you think is available in Lagos that made Lagos look developed so much so that any startup will be thinking of coming to Lagos to start their business because of the availability of the market and the army of consumers? Those data you think is available here, if we replicate them somewhere in Ikotekpene or somewhere in one village in Delta State or in Kano State, is it going to have the face of Lagos? Is it going to have what attracts people to Lagos? Can we replicate that in those places? And how can we do that?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for taking me home too. And more like I am an urbanist in a way, because part of my PhD thesis tried to integrate geoinformation and socioeconomic data to actually look at the impact of urban land use vulnerability to potential climate change impacts in Abuja. So I agree with you 1,000% over 100% that yes, we can leverage urban data with GIS and remote sensing for kind of rural development in Nigeria, which typically you have cited a kind of example that looks like, why is Lagos the way it is? But there are a lot of factors that have made Lagos the way it is. And that comes with planning. Don't forget that there are aspects of Lagos that had undergone planning. Abuja too had experienced a master planning. So there are many states in Nigeria that don't have a master plan. They don't have a regional plan. And you see, I think it's been told that, I mean, the moment you fail to plan, you have planned to actually fail. So yes, we can explore urban-rural linkages using some data-driven rural revitalization, which means that what we see in the urban fabric or in the urban landscape, I mean, covering infrastructure, population dynamics, market flow, service access, and environmental footprint. All these can provide valuable reference framework for guiding rural development. So, and GIS as a tool that allows for this kind of spatial analysis can support in this regard, because this can be translated into spatial strategies that will allow you to map markets and linkages and trade corridors for agricultural products, for instance. You can kind of identify underserved rural clusters based on urban-rural disparities and service delivery. You might also want to look at support location allocation modeling for healthcare, education, and clean water systems. So in the end, one will be able to optimize land use and resource allocation, where you can kind of have a proper understanding to detect urban sprawl. You can also guide sustainable land allocation, but you can also integrate some climate risk layers where you can look at flood, drought, and resilient settlement planning to it. You can actually use some of these kind of data to look at infrastructure replication and service modeling, where you can kind of use urban data on road networks, energy grids, and waste management systems to model and scale development in rural areas and ensure that adoption is achieved. Remote sensing can typically allow you to look at topography and terrain suitability for road expansion, mini grid, solar infrastructure, telecoms, tour, and so on and so forth. So eventually, you will be able to kind of have a rural-urban economic flow and value chain. You can design agro-logistics hub near rural settlement. You can support cold chain infrastructure planning. I mean, you can also use some seasonal labor and income flows to be able to address some issues around inclusive growth and policy development. One can use these to kind of monitor and evaluate rural development projects, where you can monitor progress of rural electrification and basic services. You can detect informal settlements and land use change over time. And this can be used to support accountability and evidence-based targets, where both federal and state governments can kind of allocate funds to properly look at what are the issues, and based on these issues, their social contracts with the people can be well optimized. So as for societal benefits, using existing urban data to kind of project planning for the rural development, sectors such as agriculture, housing and infrastructure, public health, education and services and governance can benefit from this data. And this is just a kind of a tips of the iceberg of what the GIS and remote sensing technology can bring into as benefits to in terms of urban data to improve our rural development and agenda in Nigeria.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Mahmoud. Now, Dr. Mahmoud, I would have loved to continue this conversation endlessly with you, because I think you're making lots of sense, but we have to go. However, I would like to have you here on screen again. Subsequently, we are going to have this program, because I think our conversation is not done yet, because we're talking about data and development, its developmental effect in Nigeria and other parts of Africa. Hopefully, you will join us again next time as we continue this conversation.
Thank you so much. I think I will also be delighted to have another conversation with you, which typically will speak around the data economy, and then also looking forward to a final report that will be finally launched, which has to do with the methane mitigation and reduction project. I'll be happy to kind of have a conversation with you around this. So thank you so much.
Yes, we'll be glad to have you too. It's been a pleasant moment with you. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, sir.
Yeah. So a lot of the questions around data and development,
yes,
like I was saying earlier when we were on break, it's not the first person that has said that the new crude
is data.
Is data. A lot of analysts and experts have been saying that word. And I wonder, if crude is black and it's called black gold, what could be the color of data?
It's like tech. It's
Yes.
air, but people are making trillions of dollars from it.
Exactly.
Some of the top 10 richest men in the world are into tech.
Yes.
So.
Well, this is where we draw the curtain on the program. It's been a fantastic moment here on the show, Just Africa with Swift Aderinto. My name is Oye Priye Krumale. Many thanks for watching. Now, Swift.
I want to tell you to please ensure you follow us, you like, and please drop a comment at Souq News Television on all our social media platforms. It's very, very important. And if there's any topic you would like us to discuss, I know Priye is up to the task. Please also drop that comment so that we can walk right into it.
Great. And now we go, but we leave you in the hands of Malawi. There's a special report coming to you from there. You stay with us, Souq News Television.
Africa, a continent with 54 unique countries, countless tribes and tongues. We see a country in this continent, despite not being the richest or biggest, it is rich in things that last a lifetime. Malawi treasures such as its natural beauty, cultural resilience, and Lake Malawi are some of the continent's most underappreciated economic lifelines. Malawi is referred to be the warm heart of Africa because of the friendliness of its people and its tranquil surroundings. However, Lake Malawi, Africa's third largest lake and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is the economic hub of this landlocked nation. This glittering body of water, which covers an area of over 29,600 square kilometers, is not only a wonder of geography, but also a vital economic hub. For millions of Malawians, fishing is their main source of income. More than 700 different species of cichlid fish, many of which are indigenous, may be found in Lake Malawi. In addition to supplying communities with food and boosting local markets, this biodiversity links Malawi to worldwide aquariums and research facilities. The export of dried fish products and ornamental fish makes a substantial contribution to rural economies. A burgeoning tourism industry is also driven by the lake. Malawi's lakeside locations, from Nkata Bay to Cape Maclear, draw eco-tourists and backpackers seeking peace, quiet, kayaking, snorkeling, and genuine cultural experiences. The nation is becoming more and more popular among tourists looking for a less marketed experience because of its tranquil, friendliness, and affordable travel options. Beyond the lake, Malawi is making investments in sustainable development and agriculture, especially in the areas of sugar, tea, and tobacco, which support their traditional exports and encourage diversification into other crops like macadamia and legumes. Malawi is moving more and more towards agro-processing and resilience-based farming as climatic issues worsen. Malawi is unique not because of what it lacks, but rather because of how it uses what it has, transforming its communal strength and natural resources into a gradual but steady force for growth. I am Laura, and this is Just Africa.
My name is Muiba Wonu Folami, an indigenous of Lagos State, Ikorodu, to be specific. I was born in Lagos 86 years ago, and to the glory of God, I'm still alive and well, and trying to be a relative in the cause of women. I attended primary school. I started at Ansarudin Alakuru School. From there to CMS Girls School, and then Queen's College, Lagos. From Queen's College, I went to the Portsmouth College of Technology for my A-levels, and then University of London for my first degree in law, the same university for my master's degree in law. I had, between obtaining my master's and my first degree, I was in Nigeria to do the mandatory law school course. I was one of the last people to do a 3-month course before it was changed to 1 year. And then went back to England for my master's. And from there to lecture at the University of Zambia. Back to Nigeria, I was appointed by Dr. Taslim Elias, the CJ of Nigeria, to the Commission for Advance Notice to Lawyers of Developments in Law. It was a commission funded by the Ford Foundation to keep lawyers abreast of the developments in law. I was a director there. Then from there, I was admitted to the Federal Ministry of Justice. After being legal advisor to many ministries, I ended up as the Director of Public Prosecutions for the Federation. And after that, whilst I was the Director of DPP, I was appointed Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Lagos State. After retirement, I've been involved in social work, in religion. I've always had religion, but I spend more time on religion. I read, I watch telly, and I live a good life to the glory of God. You see, when you begin to think that it was not until 2007 that women started to get equal pay in tennis tournaments. And it was something that was fought for. Little things like that does not add to equality. But when it was done, it may be small, but at work, even at work in employment, women are still discriminated against. And most women do 2 jobs. They look after the home, and they do the normal work that a man does in an office. Why I fail to understand this inequality in the treatment of women is that the work, the responsibilities in the workplace is not reduced for women, even though we do not want to be paid the same salary as men. It's a fight that has continued, and in that area, I think we need to do more to push for more recognition. Women have contributed immensely to the society. The men that are now resisting equal pay were brought up by women. That's what I do not understand, that they can think like that. We continue to push.
But how can we speed this up?
By bringing it to the attention of world powers, recognition by every country of equal opportunities, equal pay. I want to know, I want somebody to explain to me the jobs that women cannot do.
Yeah.
They've contributed immensely. Even in the new thing, IT, we're at par with men. So I do not see the reason for it. Unfortunately, I did not experience it because when I left university, I practiced law briefly in my uncle's chambers before I went to University of Zambia as a lecturer. There, my position was enhanced in the sense that I was a foreigner and I got all the benefits of being a foreigner, serving in their service. Fortunately, in Nigeria today, the federal government does not discriminate in terms of salaries. Whether you're a man or a woman, you get the same salary scale. And you are promoted on equal basis. Kudos to the federal government, to Nigeria for that. But in the private sector, things are different. In some companies, this is the area that we have to work on because the job content is the same. Some of these facilities are available in Nigeria. I learned by being a member of the Society for the Disabled that every government body must admit a certain percentage of women and of disabled people. So most times this opportunity is not taken. They are bound to employ them. We continue to push for that to be implemented in most ministries. It's important because it's there. You have to take a certain percentage of disabled people to work in government positions. It's important that we work to enforce that rule in our society. When it comes to discrimination, Nigeria is way, way ahead of some developed countries because maybe because through slavery, we faced discrimination right from the beginning. We now know how to resist it. But in my country, Nigeria, in the federal government, in the state government, there is no discrimination. It may happen in private organizations, but they must continue to push to let them understand that the job content is the same. Well, you see, traditionally, under our culture, women are in the other room. To borrow the quotation. Yeah. That's our society, that's our culture. It's going to take a long time to evolve. In my time, female education was not so popular. It's only the educated few that strove to send their children to school, their girl child to school. They end up trading with their mothers or going to market and getting married off early. But as education began to rise in our community, its value was seen by my parents and others of their contemporaries to educate the girl child. And I believe the society is benefiting from that. So we must continue push for the education of women, of girls. I have thought that, you know, when I read that, the certain state government has appointed look at our National Assembly, 4 women in the Senate. Isn't that shameful? And that is the society. We have to continue to push women up. Let these political parties know that we want women. Let us organize ourselves to continue to vote for women massively. I give kudos to our governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. His cabinet is, women is well represented in his cabinet. And I enjoy that, I love him for that, and I continue to urge him to do more. He's done a lot. I think Lagos State has the largest representative of women in cabinet. First of all, they have to project themselves in their office space, their workspace. Let everybody know that they are equal to the task. Let us organize. There's a lot of society groups and societies that cater for the interest of women. I believe now violence against women is reducing in the society because there are sanctions for such behavior. I must say that speaking to the organization in charge of violence against women, I was amused to learn that some men come there to complain and that they are also being violated and abused.
Yes, it's a two-way thing.
It's a two-way thing. So that is reducing our society. Education of the girl child is important. We have to let the locals know that education is important. Let them showcase to them the lives of those who have been educated and who are holding high positions. I'm glad that our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has returned history to the classrooms. It's important. Let them know about people that have contributed to the development of our societies and country. It's important. Yes, it's education. It's education. Once people are educated and they know that there is nothing a man can do that a woman cannot do when it comes to the workplace. We have women engineers, miners, and also all over. There is, give me a job specific that a woman cannot do, then I'll change my views. So the moment you begin to upgrade education, let government now continue to vote more for education. I don't believe we are doing enough. There is a UN convention, and I think Nigeria is part of that convention, that a certain amount of a nation's income should be devoted to education. I'm not sure whether Nigeria is complying with that. But some states are better than others. And we must, education, I believe in education of the girl child. Some states now are taking children, girls off the street, hawking completely prohibited. Things like that will help. Oh, unfortunately, in Nigeria, we are not advanced enough to use our votes to change things. We are still not voting for individuals. We are voting for parties, irrespective of performance. Education will help. And when we join other nations for the same purpose, we get results. Our organizations who are fighting for women in Nigeria should join worldwide organizations to showcase our own situation and learn. I believe that when you talk to others, you come back with ideas on how to improve things. So we must improve things by telling women in positions to show, to continue to prove that they are more than up to the task. It will not come to us on a platter of gold. We must show by our actions and behavior that we are up to the task. Of course, some women are wrong in claiming equal rights to their husbands in the house. I completely abhor that behavior. Even though they are husband and wife, the man in my culture remains the head. He should be respected. His views should be respected. It's only now the condition of living is so high that you join the two incomes together to run the house. In the past, it was the men that ran the house to pay for everything. Maybe some of these women are thinking that because they are contributing a quota to the development, that they have equal rights. Yes, they have equal rights on the upbringing of the children in their homes and everything. But respect is important. That will keep the home, and the children will learn and imbibe it into their own children too. Equal right does not, in my view, mean that you can be good, can not submit to your husband's wishes. Equal right means something differently. Respect comes out of it. It's important. I go out and I'm like appalled at the way women dress. There's a competition to show as much of your body, to do that much as your as much of your body that you can. It's absolutely difficult. They're not women. They're no longer women. The exposure, things that if you did in my time, a member of the community will cover you with a cloth and send you home. Because community mattered at that time. You dare not misbehave outside your compound because this community is watching you and reprimanding you if you go wrong, if you behave badly outside. That is law. And that is why you see people, even their dressing, show disrespect to womanhood and to themselves and to the community. We must learn, teach our children etiquette of dressing, speech, how to think and speak in a decent manner. We don't have it anymore. We're losing it, and it's shameful. because people are appreciating naked women on the streets. Both sides. If people dress badly, and you tell them and ignore them, they won't try the next time. For instance, I believe nobody can dress to come to my house or to come to my party like a naked woman. I will turn her back. I will turn her back. So that's the type of thing that we should all do. Let the people doing this know that we do not appreciate things like this. When the society itself corrects it, we must correct it individually. We should, if their parents cannot correct it, we must, by ignoring them and not allowing them to come near us. Show our women that have contributed to the society. Yeah. Show them, showcase them, showcase them.
Yeah.
We have the first woman senior advocate of Nigeria. We have Okonjo. We have, in the UN. We have all sorts. We have what's this pharmaceutical woman? She's done so much. The younger ones are there. Little ones like Shadi Okoya is managing her husband's company and doing well. Let's encourage them. They are young. The young ones, they are working to improve the society. There's so many of them out there. We should showcase them. Let them know that we have women who are of top quality, intelligent, and well-behaved, and they dress well. Dressing well is dressing in a manner that is appealing to the eyes, not nakedness. That's my darling, this new CJN of Nigeria.
Okay.
Who do that? I did talk about Kikiri. I mean, we're there. Female CJN. Yeah. And there are so many female chief judges all over the Federation. There are so many in the medical profession, in the engineering profession. We have pilots. So let them know that there is nothing that a woman cannot do. In IT, in everything, women are moving forward. We should showcase them. We should let their pictures be seen in our newspapers, in our news, in everything, to encourage young girls that you too can get there. If they don't see, and if they don't know the history of these women, how they got there, they too will not be inspired. We have to inspire the young people with the achievements of women achievers. Kekere rose from magistrate to right to the top. I admire her. She's well composed, well behaved. Some of these people, when they become something, they lose their heads. They start to, no, she's so respectful, well behaved, well dressed. I don't think she would allow herself or her children to come out naked. Never. So people like that, Okonjo well are the same. We have a lot.
In 1957, just a greenhorn, leaving school and looking for a job, going into broadcasting was something that I dreamt of. But that's only meant going into radio, because my old school, Holy Child College, still on the same site in Obalende, 2 streets away from the old NBC. I still can't forgive whoever changed the name to something else that is being called now FRCN. Because if the BBC remains BBC 100 years after the founding fathers, dreamt of starting television, radio from, all the war years and learning a bit from America. It all started from America. Because we were taught about all this. Every time they took us from school to take part in, school's debates on radio, we just walked across. It's all in Obalende and Ikoyi, Balende/Ikoyi. So I dreamt of doing something along the line. And then one of my teachers left us high and dry. He went to be a newsreader on radio. Marie Tabio, who later became Mrs. Irikefe. Then we had people like Tung Adedoyin and Eno Souq. We used to listen to them on radio on the old, you wouldn't know anything about that now, the rediffusion. It was just, a little box in your home. And everybody looked forward to either listening to the 7 o'clock news in the morning or 6 o'clock or 7 in the evening. So that was all all I had to do with broadcasting. And who was going to take me there was another matter altogether. Who would take you, little 16, 17-year-old girl, into broadcasting? But one had been bitten by the bug then. So, and only God knows where whatever dream you had was going to lead to. We read poetry, we did radio show, stage shows in school. Catholic schools were very good for that. And my old school, just celebrating 150 years of its existence, just down the road from here on Broad Street. The nuns, they were all white nuns. No Nigerian nuns at the time that we were growing up. So all the dream they had, this kind of dream that we have now, going to England, but they were coming here to teach us. So I had learnt a lot of poetry, I had taken part in Festival of Arts, and I had gone to, the biggest hall we had then was at King's College, which is also down the road. Means of transportation was your SS foot. No BRT, no bicycles or whatever. So we did it all just walking around and learning from our teachers. And of course, our mentors were the nuns, like I said. So in my wildest dream, there was no way that I was thinking of going into anything like broadcasting. That is going back to answer your question. But they had a lot of plans for the girl child. And not along the religious lines now, but actually they came to actually engender this whole idea of pushing the girl child forward. And not just me, a lot of us. People like Mrs. Francesca Emmanuel, they also went through the whole gamut of all this dream that I'm talking about. Television itself was brand new in the world. I have to talk about radio because that was what I knew as a child. But television, when it started, we didn't even know. Maybe in America, and then it went to Australia, and then to France. No. France came after Nigeria. You wouldn't believe that, would you? That we were number 6. America, Britain, Germany, Australia, one other country, and coming now home to Nigeria, where you cannot help but give a lot of credit to the dreams of people like the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo and one of his ministers then, Chief Anthony Enahoro. So that's how I believe this whole package was placed on their laps and sold to Nigeria, to the Western Nigeria government. On the radar were lots of other people like me who had dreams about becoming Miss Nigeria. So maybe that will now give you a little background about how I took part in the Miss Nigeria pageant, Western Nigeria, and I became Miss Western Nigeria. Somebody must have fine-tuned some little knot somewhere and said, okay, you probably might be able to deliver. Because you are being interviewed when you go before the panel of judges. And somebody must have said, okay, that's a good material, you can come and take part in this. Before then, we had other people, Anike Agbaje Williams, Poliola Sokwe, who were working on radio. My dream was to work in radio, but then I missed that. And I was nursing, that dream of still going to radio. Never knew what television was all about. So maybe that answers your question, I'm not sure. But I took part in the Miss Western Nigeria pageant and I won. Took part in the Miss Nigeria contest and came second. So that meant that I didn't win. And if one of the, maybe the prize was to go on TV, it wasn't even there. It wasn't written into the, program that whoever did this, but the person was going to go to England. And so Helena Yemeluna, who won that contest, went to London and fulfilled her own dream. But I was still biting my nails, waiting for when I'll be able to get a job. There were other things that girls could do. You could be a nurse, you could be a teacher, you could be an assistant, a dental assistant. All those were things that young ladies, can, fulfill their dreams along those lines. They're still there. You still have young ladies. Mrs. Muritala Muhammad, the first time I met her, she was a dental assistant. Little did we know that her husband was going to be the head of state and she would be first. So you see, lots of things were there for the young girl who wanted to learn, who had the talent, and who wanted to perform, and who wanted to work hard. But now I don't know if girls want to work hard. All they want is, the table to be set, and then they come and, partake of whatever is there. It wasn't too difficult at the time that I was picked as one of the people to come and appear on WNTV. The audition was actually carried out before my time. I got involved in so many other things, trying to get a job, something to secure, something, to alleviate poverty. There was not too much poverty in Nigeria at the time because people could still eke a living for themselves and, get by in society. But I was lucky that I had an aunt who was a nurse in the hospital in Ibadan, UCH in Ibadan. And she was married to an Englishman, and the man's friend happened to have been the man, Mr. Mathers, who was brought as one of the technical partners to WNTV. So we met at a dinner party, and just as you and I are chatting, I was only 18 plus. I was 17 when I took part in the pageant. So by this time I was growing up, and I thought I was a big girl. So I opened my mouth and I said a few things. And the man looked at me and said, how come you are not speaking with a Nigerian accent? And I didn't know what he meant because we were taught at St. Mary's to deliver whatever lines we were given to deliver. The Festival of Arts, I came second after an English boy from Corona School. And I was given a beating for coming second. Not because I didn't perform well, but because I forgot to curtsy. And one of the judges, I think, who was then Mrs. Abayomi, Lady Abayomi, said that I delivered my lines very well. So I was the Lord of Tartary. I would do this and that and the other. And so I came second. And when I got back to the school, the nun, Sister Marieta, said, you were not paying attention. So whatever you do in life, you have to be consistent. You have to perform well. The way we're trying to do now, the way we're trying to project your voice and whatever it is you have to offer with a lot of humility, not, trying to show off or to project your own image, but whatever message you have to deliver, you have to make sure that it is well delivered. The following year, St. Mary's Convent School, which is my old school, which is 150 years old in existence, went to the same King's College Hall, and we beat a lot of secondary schools. We came first. Pied Piper of Hamelin. Have you ever heard of that poetry? Pied Piper of Hamelin was about someone who wanted to get rid of all the rats in Europe. And all he did was to play the pipe. So that is what we were more or less doing. That's what you and I have felt, being a Pied Piper, trying to get off all the ills in society. That's the main job of a broadcaster. There's so many things happening in the country, and it's only TV and radio that binds the country together. If the country falls apart tomorrow, you will rely on someone from radio or from television to make the announcement, to introduce the head of state who has just won the election or the one who has just taken over. It's a huge responsibility. At that age, at 19, we had to introduce people like Chief Obafemi Awolowo on TV. We had to introduce people like Akintola, Oladoke Akintola, as the premier. And when everything broke down and it all went into smithereens, they brought in Chief Majekodumi as the administrator of the Western region. All this happening before our eyes. There were no other stations in the country except WNTV. And we were there, so we learned quite a lot. In fact, I believe that the whole country revolves around broadcasting. And if you are part of that organization, how would you feel at my age, at 80-something? As young people, perhaps you don't know all this history that I'm telling you about. It's a long, long story. But when you sit down, you have to put it all into perspective. You see that, well, some people are actually meant to be in different positions. Some people are meant to be doctors. Some people are meant to be nurses. For those of us that are in broadcasting, it's a huge responsibility. It's a passion. Something. Sometimes you don't even know how you got there in the first place. Or somebody may have discovered you. It's like being in Hollywood in those days. Someone has to develop, you have the talent, the latent talent, and then somebody will discover you. So that's how I was discovered by Mr. Mathers at a dinner. I was put in that place because I had won the Miss Western Nigeria contest. If I hadn't done that, I probably would be somewhere in the kitchen washing plates, washing all the dishes. So there you are, if that answers your question. Well, there's no one that actually picks someone and puts you plonk without, I mean, of course, if you don't have any experience on the job, you have no business being there in the first place. But if I had taken part in Pied Piper of Hamelin towns in Brunswick, I was only 13. By famous Hanover City, I was speaking like an English person. When I was only a Nigerian, little girl, being nurtured, by my mother, who was a seamstress, how would you ever get there? But you already have that background, that solid background on the rock, as it were. So by the time I was ready to go on TV, I had learnt from all the other, people that I mentioned their names earlier, like Anike Agbaje Williams. And I wouldn't say it was easy, because you always have that, butterfly fluttering in front of the camera or wherever. I think I took to television like I was meant to be there, with all humility. If I had been groomed by all these nuns that I have mentioned their names, they came to Nigeria to serve the people. They were not earning salaries, To become a nun, you have to take the oath of obedience, chastity, poverty, and all that. So you're not earning a salary. But whoever is there now is thinking of how much money he's going to get from whatever take comes from here, there, and yonder. So they taught us well. And nobody said you're going to go and appear on TV or you're going to be on radio. But just do what you're meant to do properly, with a lot of sense of responsibility and diligence. And that stands at the back of your mind. That goes everywhere with you, wherever you go in life. Even when I was nursing a sick child, my late son was a sick child. And I was meant to take part in Verdict 79 with my colleagues Kerry Ahmed and Adamu Aogi. They all came with me to the hospital, which is just next door here. And then we came back and mounted the podium and continued our business as if nothing was happening. He didn't die at the time, of course, but the job must go on. That is always there at the back of your mind. So my first night, I wouldn't say that I didn't have any jitters, that I was not nervous. But I was able to deliver, and I think that was the staying power. That was what kept me going, because other people came on board. I was not the only one. All the members of the board had their own, little nephews and nieces that they wanted to project on TV. They all came and they couldn't make it. But Anike and I kept going. And if you gave me a script now, I think I would try and... We didn't have too many, what do you call it then, teleprompters. Well, I was very good at, I had a photographic memory. So I was able to get hold of the script, and in less than 60 seconds, I'll be able to deliver it straight to the camera. That was one of the assets that I had also, which was God's gift. It's not by own might or whatever you think you have. You have the talent, of course, but also there has to be some other little bits of gifts that will help you to project the image of a professional. A lot of controversy. There is hardly any TV, radio, movie personality that can scale through that without any, because people are watching, people are trying to find their own little, bits of criticism here, there, and yonder. You can't be a goodie, 2 shoots without, any, how shall I say it, problem here, there, and yonder. So everybody has their own way of looking at people. People say, well, what has she got to do? She went to take part in Miss Western Nigeria the other day. So what's the big deal about her? And then somebody will still add their own salt and pepper here and there. But I was lucky that I was being nurtured by someone like T.O.S. Benson, who was then our Minister for Information. And he felt that, everything should not stop here. There were things happening in America. He made sure that my name was there. I was at the inauguration of President Lyndon Johnson. And we commanded a lot of attention there, myself and my colleague who came from Lagos, the station in Lagos. And for the president to notice that there were 2 black people sitting behind him at his inaugural ball, I think it was very overwhelming for me because not many black people had invitation to that event. But Charity Adadevo and I were there, and he stood up and shook our hands where we were sitting behind, 3 rows behind the president. Then Kennedy had died, and we were still nothing, we were still feeling very hot about, the loss of Kennedy. And here was the new president coming up. We were not particularly keen on being welcomed by him. But then, things like that happen to you, and it makes headline news. 2 black people, they didn't even say Nigerians. They thought we were from Ghana because some journalists came around and said, "How is your man Nkrumah?" And we said, "No, our own Prime Minister is Tafawa Balewa." They never heard of him then. But then they had to go and carry out their own study and find out who Tafawa Balewa was. And of course, the whole country was very proud of us that we went and actually stole the show at the inauguration of President Lyndon Johnson. So many other things happened. When I came to London, the British Information Office, they were trying to look for someone to host their program. That host happened to be around, so they picked me to host their program. But you don't ad-lib on any of those stations. Everything is written out. The questions, even your answer will be written. You can change it around a little bit, but they make sure that you said the right thing at the right time. So that was how we were able to gain attention. German television also invited us because they were interested in Nigeria. See how the German chancellor came to Nigeria. That was what happened at the time. In 1963, we had just become a republic then, from being an independent station in 1960. By 1963, we then became a republic. And we were chosen to go and appear on German television in Berlin. And they wanted a little bit of culture. So Benson had his own band. So we were chosen to go and represent Nigeria then. Nobody knew who the ambassador was, but they wanted to know who was presenting something on TV. So that's how important television has been. And that, in fact, we were the first television in the whole of Africa. The very first station, WNTV, that was a call signal. WNTV, first in Africa. There's nothing like that now. Nobody wants to know whether you are first or second. But the station that is being run in Nigeria, I think, has the largest number of stations than any other country in Africa. We have about 21 stations, and now it's still, still counting. And yours is coming on board, and so many others. I think next to America, Nigeria should have been the best country for television broadcasting in the whole world. There's not so many countries in the world that has as many stations as Nigeria. We only have to put our heads together. We only have to find joy in whatever we're doing. Sometimes when it's raining, people say, "Oh, it's raining," and they feel very bad about the rain. But if you look closely, behind that rain, there'll be sunshine, there'll be something else coming on. You see some silver clouds coming during the rain, but Nigerians don't have the patience to wait for that kind of thing. That's what television teaches you. If you're in the studio, you don't know what's happening outside. You just get on with the job. That's what we were taught. We were taught not by Nigerians. Even when we started, we couldn't go on air and ad-lib. There was always someone there, Mr. Blackledge, to write the script.